There we go. Good. I was about to say good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone's been doing well. I know I have. Um, when I tell you time is like wibbly wobbly, it does not make sense to me. It really doesn't. I don't know why I thought the Capcom Ace Attorney news thing, because they were teasing a video, wasn't going to be until later in the afternoon. But I woke up in the morning and they're like, this video is 5 hours old. The fuck you mean it's 5 hours old? What? Oh my gosh. So that's the first thing we're gonna do is watch it and react to it as one naturally would. Um, and then we'll jump into more investigations. Hi Morbius, how are you? But yeah, let's look at this video because when I tell you I'm excited for this, I'm like, let's go. I was like, we're gonna risk it for the biscuit. We're gonna show it on stream. We're gonna have my reactions. What? Hi! There's no bite command. I am so sorry. It's only hug and slap. Good. How's your Sunday? It's been an interesting Sunday so far, but because I really thought this announcement was later in the afternoon, not already happening. Because there wasn't a bite. I mean, that's fair. All right. Just so we're aware. Move this over here. This is 8 minutes. I'm ready. Y'all have to let me know if the volume's gonna be too loud.
Phoenix Wright here.
And what on earth is this?
That's right, Ace Attorney TV.
Oh, get the pun. Get it?
And I are here today to tell you all about the amazing series we star in, Ace Attorney.
Yes.
All I want to know is what you've dragged me into this time, right?
Well, I was told to share what makes this series so special, but I didn't want to do it all by my lonesome, so...
Okay.
The first Ace Attorney game follows the trials of rookie defense attorney Phoenix Wright as he tackles a string of difficult cases. This courtroom battle...
Yes, and he's in his original outfit. And, okay, so my brain is going a million miles right now because Phoenix Wright has multiple voice actors. There's the anime voice actor, and then there's the game voice actor. Hi, cutie. Hi, Kyle. So my brain is like, is this Sam Riegel? Because I want to say that he's Phoenix, right, in the anime. I'm trying to my brain is literally like, which voice is this? What's going on? But let's continue.
Adventure was initially released on October 12th, 2001.
That was more than 20 years ago.
Yes.
Back then, no one had even heard of the courtroom battle genre.
I had to fight fiercely for my clients by presenting evidence against the witnesses' lies. Objection! Just like that.
And yet, the only reward that was thrown your way was a face full of hair.
But it felt so good when I turned my thinking around, found the contradictions, and trounced that annoying prosecutor.
Another thing this series is known for is its cast of colorful characters.
This is true.
That's
This
right.
is true.
So now let's take a look back at the entire Ace Attorney series and the weirdos from each one.
Wait, no. No. Okay, when I say there's a colorful cast and they're like, oh yeah, that is 1,000% true. Also, I need to message my roommate to be like, hey, I need you to listen to Phoenix's voice. All right. But yes, there's a colorful cast of characters in each game.
That's right, Ace Attorney TV. Starting from the very beginning, it's Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney Trilogy.
Okay.
And who was the weirdo of the first Ace Attorney game?
I'm so sorry to keep pausing. Ow, thank you for the hydrate. But that's what it is. You missed, huh?
FBI, open up!
Ow. Oh, hi, Kodiak. But if they're going off of the trilogy, that's such a weird one because we're like, who is the weirdo? Because you have Ace Attorney, and then you have Trials and Tribulation. No, you have Ace Attorney, and then you have Justice for All and Trials and Tribulations. And that's 3 games, and you have to figure out who the weirdo is. I can't decide. Are you done throwing things at me, Kodiak? So I don't know. Are we gonna say it's Phoenix?
Name? Edgeworth. It's you.
What the hell?
Let's see, you objected to a witness's talkativeness.
Well, I mean, shouldn't that imply that it's the witness who is the weirdo here? Anyway, let's move on. In the second game, Justice for All, we meet Manfred von Karma's daughter, Franziska von Karma.
Yeah, she sure loved to crack her beloved whip at me. And boy, did it hurt.
The third game, Trials and Tribulations, gave us the mysterious masked prosecutor, Godot.
Yeah, he sure loved to throw his beloved special blend of coffee at me.
There is so much I could say about Godot. There is so much I could say, and a lot of it is spoilers. Let's continue.
And boy, was it hot.
It does warn you right on the box, right? Maybe you should learn a few special moves of your own, too.
Is that really what they mean by courtroom battle? And that's Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney trilogy in a nutshell. 3 monumental games of the mystery adventure genre that laid the foundation of this series together in one timeless collection. That's right, Ace.
I can't take this serious.
In the lineup, Apollo Justice Ace Attorney trilogy. Rookie attorney Apollo Justice makes his debut here as a brand new protagonist for the series.
Okay, so if we're going off of the weirdo in this one, in the Apollo Justice series, I'm gonna make my argument that it's Phoenix's daughter / Apollo's sister, Trucy. That's the weirdo. But let's see what the game says.
Tough new cases put all of his knowledge and skills to the test as he comes into his own.
If memory serves, Mr. Justice's rival is Clavier Gavin. He's a district prosecutor and the leader of the rock band Gaviners.
The sound of his air guitar playing leaves quite the impression during his trials.
Hold it! The sound of his air guitar is a clear contradiction.
You think I don't know that? The 5th game, Dual Destinies, introduces rookie lawyer Athena Sykes to the series. Her expertise in psychology helps her get...
Honestly, okay, so we have Phoenix Wright with the Cyclock. We have Apollo with mannerisms. Athena's was like trying to figure out what the victim was feeling. That one I don't like.
To the truth.
Death row inmate and prosecutor Simon Blackwill also debuts.
Yeah.
But I also did like Blackwill.
He sure loved to slice off my beloved front spike, didn't he? The 6th game, Spirit of Justice, features the Kingdom of Crime, where spirit mediums call upon the memories of the dead as a method of cornering defendants.
It also features international prosecutor and Kura-Eni's monk, Nayuta Sadmahi.
Yeah, he sure loved to use his beads to seal my beloved objection arm.
I wonder if I should learn a secret move.
I really don't think that's what they mean by courtroom battle. These 3 titles showcase the evolution of Ace Attorney. Truly, it's a collection packed with justice. That's right, Ace Attorney TV. Next we have the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, a collection of 2 fantastic games.
Led by Phoenix Wright's ancestor, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, it is set in Victorian London and Meiji, Japan.
Ryunosuke teams up with that great detective of fame, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, as they dancingly deduce their way through London. Standing in their way is a man known as the Reaper, the legendary prosecutor Barack Van Zeeks.
Well, I still got more ruffles than
You think that makes you better? They were also unique for their use of a jury system. Like the great detective stories of old, this great duology features the greatest turnabouts of all time. That's right, Ace Attorney TV. Next is the mystery masterpiece, Ghost Trick Phantom Detective.
I have not played Ghost Trick. I think it's on a wish list or on like a to play list.
What's special about this stylish title is that, unlike Ace Attorney games with their individual episodes, Ghost Trick focuses on only one grand story.
When you start the game, the main character Sissel is already dead.
And someone has killed the heroine, Lynn, as well.
Guess it's curtains for everyone.
Except, having become a spirit, Sissel can now rewind time, jump into objects and manipulate them, all to undo a person's untimely demise.
So, just as I turn my thinking around in court, Sissel turns back time to avert fate. It's a change of pace from Ace Attorney, but why not check out Ghost Trick Phantom Detective 2?
Okay, that actually kind of did sell me on the game.
That's right!
Oh no, I can't!
I think that about covers everything and then some.
Hold it! Let's not forget the Ace Attorney Investigations Collection.
Wow, look at you, Mr. Influencer.
I mean, since I'm here, we might as well cover it.
I mean, that's
This
fair.
collection contains the 2 Ace Attorney Investigations games.
They star me, Miles Edgeworth. I pursue the truth, not as a defense attorney, but as a prosecutor, in this new style of Ace Attorney game.
Yeah, and where all of your rivals in the investigation series are just as weird as you. Interpol investigator Shilong Lang hates it when prosecutors get in his hair, which must be all the time for Mr. Werewolf.
Agent Lang is admired by his many subordinates, right? So I suggest you watch what you say.
And what if I don't? In the game, a judge and committee for prosecutorial excellence member, Verity Gavelle, stands in Edgeworth's way.
She overrules people with her extendable gavel. I wonder if she uses that thing in court, too.
Same, me too.
Get to know
Boys!
Miles Edgeworth
Boys!
as you investigate behind the crime scene tape in my series.
That's right, Ace Attorney TV!
Are we ignoring the Phoenix Wright Professor Layton game? There's like 2 minutes left. A minute left. Are we ignoring that? Oh, I hope not.
Looking back on the series makes you realize just how much Ace Attorney has going on.
Indeed. And should any of the weirdos or stories pique your interest, why not check them out?
But is it okay to just jump in with, say, Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy or the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles? I don't remember what happened in the second game, you see? It was like I was hit on the head or something and forgot everything.
You of all people. Every title we've showcased today is entirely self-contained, so it's perfectly fine to start from whichever one you'd like.
No way! And that about wraps it up for us.
Now, subscribe or face our
Objection!
Post-filming. Wright and Co. law offices.
Thanks a bunch, Edgeworth. I couldn't have done this without you.
And what about next time?
Next time?
How about a rundown of the top 3 episodes of
Okay, that's beautiful. So it's just kind of like a rundown of like, hey, we have all these games to play. Oh my god, that was so beautiful. But I won't subject y'all to more of that, because now we're gonna actually play investigations. But okay, so that's gonna bother me that they did not bring up Phoenix Wright Professor Layton. Is that just gonna be like, oh, that never existed, tee? Okay, there we go. Unforgivable! This is unforgivable! Do you understand what I'm saying? Oh, excuse me. The movie is late! It is the same level as bad as a plane arrived late. But the movie... What? I will not talk to you anymore. You are just wasting my time. What is the matter, Mr. LeBlanc? If there's no emergency, please return to your seat, sir. Do not tell me what to do. I need not to sit down. Well, Mr. Prosecutor, did you prove your innocence yet? If you would like, I would like to prove my innocence to you right now. What? Nonsense! Are you saying my eyewitness testimony is mistaken? Not mistaken, just merely there's room for doubt. I'd be most honored if you could please tell me what you saw in detail once more. Fine! Suit yourself! What a cell! I am certain I saw Mr. Hicks enter that elevator. And when it was the needles on the pocket watch pointed at the 6 and the 12, the body was discovered 15 minutes after in the lounge, yes? And then you, the only person in the lounge at that time, must be the criminal. What time was the body found again? 6:15. Movie. Ow! Hi, Tom. Thanks for the sub. How are you? Welcome in. After all, the only person in the lounge at the supposed time of the murder was me. So my eyewitness testimony. If you can destroy it, then come and let me see. Hurry, do I look like a man who's having time to wait for you? Why is he so irritated? I'm the one accused of murder here. Anyway, I must find a way to discredit Mr. LeBlanc's account somehow. And fast. I am certain I saw Mr. Hicks enter the elevator. Mr. LeBlanc, were you able to get a good look at the inside of the elevator at that time? Well, of course, I saw who was inside. And you sure the victim was in the elevator alone? Yes, the only person inside that was Mr. Hicks' man. This is his last outburst. Is too important to let it go. Was he really alone? Of course! I even bet 1 cent! Damn, you're so cheap, you only bet a penny? A cheap ante for a cheap testament. But if that's how you want to play it, I'll happily take your 1 cent. It was when the needles on my pocket watch pointed to the 6 and the 12. I assume the pocket watch in this case is the one you've been keeping check, is that correct? Oh, you noted it is very expensive antique. I'll have you know. The feeling is wonderful when fully wound up by hand. It does look very well designed and quite classy. Excuse me. I will have to charge you if you want to touch it. Ugh! That's quite alright. Let's continue with your testament. What a cheap man you are. Now let's return to the time back you wasted to me. And if you must, I saw Mr. Hicks enter the elevator at 6 o'clock. The body was discovered 15 minutes later in the lounge, yes? It's true that I found the victim's body at 6:15. And that's when I found the two of them as well. You see, it all matches my testament. And then you, the only person at the lounge at the time, must be the criminal. That is most mistaken in your way of thinking I've ever heard. Hold it! No. Your silly opinion is what is mistaken. Please calm down, the both of you. In a sense, you're both mistaken. Well, if it isn't the pot calling the kettle black, then I don't know what is. I spy a little hole in his words. As you wish, Mr. LeBlanc, I will show you proof of my innocence. Alrighty. I think it's that photo to show that there was. But I am so nervous. The only person inside was the Mr. Hicks man, so the grape we're going to present. Mr. LeBlanc. What is it? There's a very glaring contradiction in your testament. What do you mean? Please take a look at the area in front of the elevator. There's spilled grape juice. Yes, and will you admit you spilled it with blood? No, it spilled itself during the turbulence. But there's an interesting thing here in the set of grape juice footprints. Footprints? Yes, the ones that lead from within the elevator into the lounge itself. It's evidence that proves that someone other than Mr. Hicks exited the elevator alive. Oh! There must have been another person in the elevator with Mr. Hicks. Now then, I'm done playing games. Why don't you tell us the truth? Yeah! Can you please translate for us? No way, that's totally impossible. I guess is what he said. No way, that is totally impossible. I only know there was no other person in there. I saw it with my own eyes. If you want to know what I think, Mr. Edgeworth, I don't think Mr. LeBlanc is lying to us. I suppose you're right. He doesn't seem to be lying. But then what does it mean? What about this contradiction? Mr. LeBlanc, please just once more, will you recall the details of what you witnessed for me? Mrr! I was very upset when Mr. Hicks passed by my seat. I always check the time over and over again. I happened to follow that man with my eyes when he passed me, and I clearly saw into the elevator he was entering. But I swear there was no one else inside. No one. Mr. LeBlanc, if you would please calm down. What? You dare to have an issue with my eyewitness testament? No, not at all. Please forgive anything I said. Yet again, he doesn't appear to be lying. But I can't let this testimony stand as truth.
Hold it!
So you're still upset now? I am always upset. The only time I'm not is when I have a piece of art in my hands. It's surprisingly easy to believe that about him. But I was even more upset when Mr. Hicks walked by me. I was always checking the time over and over again.
Hold it!
Why were you sensitive to the time? Because something unforgivable was happening. Come to think of it, you were yelling about something unforgivable earlier. I was giving a complaint to the attendant about the movie starting time. Return back my time. In money, you understand the point. Movie? Is he talking about the in-flight one that's mentioned in the magazine? A summary of the plot and its start time. Interesting. They were supposed to show License to Love, Laugh. I can't. They were supposed to show License to Love, Laugh, Maim, and Murder. I cannot see that movie in my country. You can only see it in international flights. I look forward greatly to that movie. To live, laugh, maim, murder. I check my pocket watch whenever possible so I would not miss it. You will calculate and testify. Yeah, exactly. I even set my pocket watch to the destination time when I came on board. So my watch is not wrong. It matched the schedule. But the movie is very late. Still very, very late. Your pocket watch. I'd like to ask a little bit more about that if that's alright. The movie I wanted to see would not start, so I checked my pocket watch many times. So this movie you mentioned, the one that's listed in the Sky magazine. Yes! I was looking forward to watching License to Love, Laugh, Maim, Murder. Miss Tenero, what was this movie shown on this flight? Yes, it was shown at the scheduled time. Isn't it possible you slipped through it by accident? Nonsense! You doubt me? No, stop pointing at me like that. Odd, how did he miss a movie when he was clearly hoping to see? I checked my pocket watch a great number of times. That I know for sure. My watch is set to the destination time. I always set it when I board the plane. You sure about what you just testified, Mr. LeBlanc? Yes, of course. I'm a very busy man. I immediately busy when I land. I have many places to go. No time to waste adjusting my pocket watch. I see. That's a very valuable statement you just made. Whew! Flatter me all you want, but you will not get 1 cent out of me. That's alright. I require all this... All what I require is this piece of testament. I happened to follow that man with my eyes when he passed me. Since you only happened to see him, it's possible that you missed something in that glance. Hold it! Even if I only happened, I did not miss a thing. And how can you be so sure? Just because... I would appreciate if you didn't take my life so lightly with a simple just because. Well then, I was only making a joke. I saw Mr. Hicks, alright? And I clearly saw into the elevator he was entering. Is it possible someone was hiding inside? What? You dare insult me? I have my belief in my eyesight. When I look for art to sell, I am often told I have great sights for the arts. I think the phrase you were looking for is great sense, though that is debatable. But is it possible that someone just outside of your line of sight... Oh, you are persistent! I tell you, I looked clearly. But I swear there was no one else inside. No one. And why do you insist that you're absolutely not mistaken? Because when I say I'm not wrong, I am not wrong. Mr. LeBlanc, if I may, I think beyond misconceptions and mistakes lies the truth. Funny that suspicious mirrors something I told her only a little while ago. Honestly, I don't think Mr. LeBlanc is lying. I don't think he's lying either. But I think he might be mistaken about something. Mistaken? Yes, and I'm going to correct his recollection with evidence. And this professional attendant shall witness the prowess of a professional prosecutor. It's that in-flight. I'm sure it's the in-flight. All time zones are corresponded to our departure. Okay, yeah. Your testament just now and this piece of evidence. I cannot believe how much time I've spent here. You will pay for this time with your piece of evidence. Wait, no, stop. This is an invaluable piece of evidence. If you do not know how to use it, then give it to me. I will try to use it for you. Oh wait, did we make a tiny error? No. Mr. LeBlanc, you said just now in your testament. I even set my pocket watch to the destination time when I come on board. Now, if your watch has been set to our destination time zone, it would mean that your watch is displaying the time of our destination. Yes, and the correct time is worth 6 cents. I would like you to take a look at this. All times are shown in the correspondent of our departure. If you believe the Sky magazine, clocks on the flight run according to the time of our departure time zone. Of course, the movie schedule was also created with that in mind. Mr. Nero, for confirmation's sake, what time zone is our flight aligned to right now? Well, we made a short stop at the transfer point. That's right. It was in that small Asian country, the Republic of Zhangfa. But we didn't readjust our onboarding clocks at that time. So right now, we're still running on Borganian time. What?! The time difference between Borganian and our destination is 9 hours. 9 hours prior, 9 hours ahead? In that case, it's only natural that your watch would be out of sync with the schedule. Yes! Further, with your analog watch set to our destination's time, it would appear to be running 3 hours fast when compared to the flight's onboard clock. It also changes everything about your testament. And you can bet 1,000,000 cents on that. And this light of information, that means you saw Mr. Hicks 3 hours prior at 3 a.m. No! My 1,000,000 cents! That should clear up the remaining accusations. Well, this is basically why it's the time frame from the time of death, right? Yes, because Mr. LeBlanc saw the victim enter the elevator at 3 a.m. Which means that the time of death could be anywhere from 3 to 6:15. Now the question is where What? Now the question is where Mr. Hicks was during the time, what he was doing. I've got something to say. And you are? Yeah, oh. I'm Cammy Meal, a flight attendant. And what is it you wish to say? Well, I think your story's a little different from how I remember it. What do you mean, Cammy? I saw Mr. Hicks sitting in his seat at 5 a.m., you know? What? How can you be sure of the time? Oh, that's right! He pushed the call button while we were parked at the transfer point. A message from Captain Ugo. This flight will be making a brief stop to refuel and transfer cargo in the Republic of Zhangfa between 4 and 5 a.m. We ask that all passengers remain on board at this time. Thank you for cooperation. And at that time, we made it refueling and cargo transfer, right? Yes, it was from 4 to 5 a.m. according to our clocks. And during that time, did any of the passengers leave or any new ones board this flight? No. Not a single person got off or in Zhangfa. What about the flight crew? The few who were handling cargo transferred might have temporarily gotten on or off, but eventually everyone, including Cammy and myself, came back onto the plane. So basically, I can assume that no one left or got on since our initial takeoff. By the way, Cammy's outfit is very interesting. How come our professional flight attendant is not on her case? and I answered his call. I can tell you that Mr. Abby Hicks was there to see it when we took off again at 5 a.m. Alright, that puts the time of murder between 5 and 6:15. Okay, now what time did you come down to the lounge, Mr. Edgeworth? I remember coming down here as soon as we left the Republic of Zang. Ah! You were the whole time from 5, yes? And you're the only one who could be the killer. Mr. Edgeworth, were you really here in this lounge the entire time from 5 a.m. onwards? Unfortunately, yes. But then how do we explain the footsteps? He's obvious! This man waited for Mr. Hicks here in the lounge, waited to kill him. And then he put the corpse in the elevator. This is where the turbulence happened. My eyewitness testament, I may have been mistaken. But what I saw was Mr. Hicks enter the elevator on the second floor doesn't matter. Because the entire incident occurred here in the lounge. Everything happened in this lounge. Is that what you really believe, Mr. LeBlanc? What? Do you have another ideal? I simply feel that there's something out of place here in the scenario you presented. Is there something that can tie a crime to a location other than the lounge? These footprints in which the direction you see they're headed. That would be the in-flight shop. Correct, they are headed directions to the shop. But they look disconnected. They all end all of a sudden. You're right to point that out. They do not form one continuous trail to the shop. However, there's another piece of evidence that connects the shop to our crime scene. The murder weapon, this little piggy, was sold at the in-flight shop. It is sold there and only there and not displayed here in the lounge. Now then, how did it find its way here? Don't you find that a bit suspicious? Such a trivial point! It only means you prepared it, taken it from the shop first before coming here. Doesn't prove you are innocent at all. Ugh! Is there no way to win with this man? Hold it! If I may. What is it? You see? Well, it's just as Mr. Edgeworth says. Oh? And how do you know this well? Well, it's just... Piggy bank was just there in the shop. I saw it with my own eyes. And when was this? Maybe around 5:40. Okay, so now we've limited it down to 30 minutes. Isn't that just before we hit that patch of turbulence? That's right. You were in the shop before the turbulence? Yes, I was. Come to think of it. Miss Tenero, when I found the body. I believe you came out of that door? Yes, I did. And what is beyond that door? That is the flight attendant's room. Then you were on the first floor? Yes. I had to do something at the shop and the in-flight attendant room. So I went to the shop first, and then the in-flight attendant's room. Are you saying you passed by me at some point? Yes, you seemed really into the issue of the Sky magazine that you were reading at the time. I don't suppose you noticed me walking by. I vaguely recall someone walking by, but I didn't notice who it was. Anyway, the piggy bank was definitely there at the shop when I went there. And how did you go into the shop in the first place? I went there for a work-related matter. Work, you say? Yes, the upkeep of the shop is also one of my responsibilities. And why didn't you say anything about that now? Is what I want to know. In any case, I believe it's clear that the shop needs to be investigated as well. Shall we head over there then? Hold it! What now? Aren't you forgetting something, Miss Rhonda? Don't you need the captain's permission to check the shop? No, I haven't forgotten. But I've already asked him for permission to search the entire plane. So I think we're alright. Huh, that's weird. What is it? Well, I just talked to the captain, see? And he says that he didn't give you permission to do anything like that at all. Interesting. Are we about to have like a flight attendant against flight attendant? What's the meaning of this, Miss Tenero? It means she's lying. Go on. Admit you are. You said you have permission to search all over, but you don't. And yet here you are. You flight attendant! What are you trying to pull? Pull the sheep over us? Captain's calling for you, Miss Rhonda. Oh, but don't worry. I already got permission to search the shop. From the captain. See, unlike you, I do things the right way. Mr. Nero, why would you do such a thing? Please, excuse me. Looks like I get to be in charge now. Please go back to your seats, Mr. LeBlanc. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth. If you would follow me, I will be your guide from now on. There's something about Mr. Nero that has piqued my curiosity. Right now, investigating the in-flight shop is my top priority. Miss Maylie, about investigating the in-flight shops. You're no use to me asleep. Wake up. What's up? I need you to come with me so we can search the shop. Go on ahead without me. I'll catch up with you later. How has this woman not been fired yet? Mr. Edgeworth, that's the attendance room. Please excuse me, it was a simple mistake. You made this mistake, didn't you? Why didn't you just come out and say it? That's exactly what I just said, I made a small mistake. Don't nod off while I'm talking. Oh, I'm really mad. You had better hurry and bring me some evidence. You could wait just a little bit longer, we'll look into the shop. Don't number the birds before they are born. Don't number the... Oh, I have no idea what he's trying to say. Don't count your chickens before they hatch, perhaps? All I ask is for your patience and cooperation. So this is the in-flight shop. It's quite a mess in here. You think? I guess I'll have to clean things up then. Tee-hee. Hold it! You can't clean up a potential crime scene. Oh, thank goodness. I hate cleaning so much. I mustn't rush into things. I must remain cool, calm, and collected. Because this piggy bank was left at the crime scene. There's a very good chance that the killer had paid this place a visit. What are these? Oh, those are our company's completely original line of suitcases. They're practically flying out the door. That's how popular they are. You should buy one and see how you like it. You won't regret it. Perhaps that's how things work on this flight, but in the real world, you better try than buy. No way! But either way, it doesn't really matter. True, either way, why would anyone buy a suitcase after they boarded the plane? And see that? Just look at the Captain Uggos head painted on there. Cute company mascot, isn't he? They're painted with a lot of care. Doesn't he look like he's about to jump at you? It's certainly making something jump inside of my stomach. Huh? I guess there's no fooling your refined taste. You looked like you really wanted to get one. And I thought I was finally going to make my first sale, but you saw right through it. Glad it's done though. Never make me try to give the sales pitch ever again, okay? But I never showed any interest to begin with! Teehee. It's really pretty horrible, isn't it? You want to know something? The suitcase was designed by Miss Rhonda. Miss Tenero designed this? Yeah, it was a company-wide contest. It does have a very sharp design sense? Sharp. Like stinky sharp cheddar, maybe. I really have no idea why the bigwigs decided to go with this. It's so bleh. Miss Tenero designed this, did she? It's definitely not what I've expected. You okay? I'm okay. Please watch yourself, Ms. Mealy. Letting a suitcase roll freely. That's gotta be a safety violation. Okay. Here, I'll put it back. The wide selection of souvenirs for sale in the display cases. You know what I suggest? Sorry, but I have no intention of buying souvenirs on this trip. Okay, then how about you buy something for me then? As a present. I can't think of a single reason why I would want to buy anything. But I've had my eye on that pendant for such a long time. Try paying attention to me when I ask you something, and then we'll talk. Glass from this display case door shattered all over the floor. And it looks like there's nothing on the display case either. Actually there's something. What's this? A mini captain's hat? Stuffed toys like the one Miss Mealy is holding are on display here. They're relatively cheap, but explains they're displayed so haphazardly. How about it, Mr. Edwards? You know you want one too. They're great for when you're stressed. Why do I envision stuffed animal abuse when she says that? There's all kinds of luxury name brand merchandise for sale in this display case. And they're all lined up such as the manager scream, "Buy me" to any passerby. Inside the display case is a row of lifesavers and best for sale. We sell a lot of those when there's some kind of accident or something. But some people buy them even when there's nothing going on. How about it, Mr. Edgeworth? Care to buy one? I sense that this shop is one shop away from being sued. Oh, I was trying to get the paper! I don't know how much about this shop, but you can still ask me whatever. So, what do you think about what's happened in regards to the case? Oh, I don't know. I guess I think you're the killer, though, Mr. Edgeworth. I can assure you that I'm the one being here in the shop to prove just the opposite. But it was me who got the permission to look around. You know. So don't forget that, okay? How am I supposed to thank you properly if you insist on falling asleep? Oh, you know, would really show your thanks. See that item for sale over there? Sorry, but you're gonna have to make do with my words of appreciation. Miss Ronda said this piggy bank was in the shop, right? Don't you find her a teeny bit suspicious? I don't think I could say that either way. There's not enough evidence to convince me that she was lying about anything back there. Are you sure about that? So what is it? Are you going to give it to me? Oh, but I'm not supposed to accept any presents. Unless they're really worth something. Beautiful flowers and a beautiful arrangement. I feel cleansed by looking at them. But you're kind of stepping on a few of them, you know, Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Suitcase. So I think the tiny hat goes together with this. The hat probably used to be on the piggy bank's head, so let's give it a go and see. I believe this piggy bank was forcibly removed from its display case. Does this mean that the killer broke the glass to get to it? Really? Don't tell me you don't know what things go in the shop. Well, I don't. Miss Rhonda's in charge of this place. But come on, how should I know about anything? I sense that further investigation of the display case is needed. I won't rest until I inspected every single nook and cranny. Okay. Oh, wait, no. There's definitely something unusual about this. About what? If the killer broke the glass to get the Captain Ugo Bank, there should be shards of glass inside the case itself. Oh, I see. Yeah, I guess that'd be like that. However, there's not a single piece of glass in this display case. Nope. No, there isn't. Which means that the glass broken from the inside out. Piggy bank must have fallen over the turbulence right through the glass. Yeah, that's for sure. There's so much glass all over the floor. I'm willing to bet that this little hat was knocked off his head at that time too. That's nice. Which leads me to believe that the killer took the Captain Ugo Bank from here after the turbulence. See. Take your power naps on your own time, Miss Melee, and listen when I'm talking. What? But the murder occurred before the turbulence, which rules out this piggy bank as the murder weapon. So you mean the piggy bank's not the real murder weapon? It's a fake? Yes, at this point, it's a very real possibility. But then, if the killer went to take Captain Ogo, they broke the glass by accident? The display case is locked, so it's highly unlikely. But yeah, there's one person who could have. Miss Rhonda, of course. I mean, she's the only one in charge of this place, so she has the keys to everything. Miss Rhonda Tenero, huh? On the bottom of the shelves, we have a cute one, a middle one, and a realistic one. And on the top shelf, that's the Flora version. Floral, are you sure about that? Let me guess. You said the first thing that came to your mind, right? Looks like I hit the bullseye. There's not a single piece of glass inside the display case, which means that the glass was broken from the inside out. The piggy bank must have fallen over in turbulence right through the glass, which leads me to believe the killer took the Captain Ogo here from after the turbulence. But how would that also mean that the piggy bank could not be the murder weapon? For security, there's a lock on this display case. Miss Meili, if I may ask you about this lock. The one in charge of the shop is Miss Rhonda, so... She's got keys to all the display cases. I see. Oh, I bet you want to buy something. Do you want me to go get the keys from her? No, that's alright. Go Airlines related book lines its shelves. The history of Go U Airlines, the future of Go U Airlines, the 7 wonders of Go U, flight Go On, Go U Airlines, working name Go U Airlines, you go you. The titles make it very clear that they won't be making top sellers listed anytime soon. There's nothing of interest here. Yes, there's definitely something wrong here. What's wrong with this? What's with the sudden yelling? Tell me, Miss Meili, you don't think there's something strange about these suitcases? Oh, well, sure, they're totally ooze strange, like the color and such. It's not what I'm talking about, now pay attention. You're scaring me, Mr. Edgeworth. Sorry. These suitcases are lined up a bit too prim and proper. Yeah, they look a bit uptight, don't they? But I guess I take after the creator. Hee hee hee. Again, that's not what I mean, Miss Meili. Don't you find it unusual that these cases are only things undisturbed by the turbulence? Never mind. I'd sooner find an answer by inspecting these suitcases myself. Upon closer inspection, they really are quite hideous. Tee hee. I wonder how Miss Rhonda would react if she heard what you just said. What's wrong? She makes a good point. It would be wise for me to watch what I say aloud. What's this? I spotted something not quite right. What's so unusual about the suitcase? This one has stoppers. This is what's so odd. Hi, Flitchard. How are you? Thank you for the follow. I don't think it's strange at all. Is it the floor? No, because I thought it was the stoppers, but it's not the stoppers. Maybe it's the suitcase without a stopper. There's something very particular about these wheels. Huh? As in, there's no stoppers in place on these. Without the stoppers, one would think the turbulence would have sent it flying. Oh, excuse me. And? So it's very like the suitcase was placed after we hit the turbulence. Let's take a closer look at it, shall we? Let's zoom in. A 1,200 price tag? Not exactly priced by someone with the contents, I say. It would appear to be unlocked. Let's take a look at what's inside. A piece of cloth. And it's soaked with blood. What? Oh, I need to see the profiles again. It's blood! It would appear that this suitcase is very strongly tied to our murder after all. So explain this to me. What does this suitcase have to do with the murder? I believe it's pretty safe to say the killer used the suitcase in some manner, such as to remove something per... Oh. It's Miss Tenero, because she wiped her shoes, probably. Yeah, but aren't you just talking about the cloth then? That alone is too small. A larger item would be needed to move what I'm thinking. The thing I'm thinking the killer used the suitcase to transport is... Yeah, we're gonna go with the piggy bank. No. Oh, that color scheme matches Mr. LeBlanc. Hi, how are you? You poke on... Do I want a hint? Yeah, I'll take a hint. They moved the thing that made them the killer. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because I was like, no, it's got to be the bear. Then I was thinking about it. I was like, no, the bear doesn't make sense because we're like focusing on the suitcase. And I'm like, ugh, we're just going to risk this. Sounds like a dead body, doesn't it? Yeah, they're the killer because they killed someone. Oh my gosh, please. No, that gives me flashbacks to It Wasn't Christmas meme. But then in light of this, I'd say Mr. Hicks was moved into the elevator from someplace. Which means that the murder was committed in a different location entirely. So you're saying that after moving the body into the elevator, the killer brought the suitcase here and just left it? Exactly. What is it? Oh, nothing. Just... I was thinking about what Miss Rhonda said about coming here for something. Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth? I wanted to give you a bit more time, but I'm afraid I wasn't able to convince the captain. I'm very sorry, Mr. Edgeworth, but the captain feels that he's allowed you ample time. He says that he appreciates you if you could wrap it up here and return to your seat. I understand his sentiments, however, I will not be allowed to complete my investigation. If the crime scene may be contaminated by the time we land. If I must stop, then I insist I be allowed to oversee the preservation of the two sites. Under your supervision, of course. If that is your only condition, I believe that we can accommodate your wishes. I am here to assist you in any way that I can, Mr. Edgeworth. Also, what do I call you? Because I'm like, I see it as Flit Chard. And I'm like, does that sound right? Am I butchering it? Are you about to be like, Steph, that's not how you say that. You just accidentally summoned demon. Sounds like fun. We can camp out and watch over everything together. Rhymes with Richard. Why is my first thought was bitcher? I'm so sorry. Richard, Flitchard. I'm gonna write that as a little note. Rhymes with Richard. I found proof in the crime scene was not in the lounge, and I have enough evidence to prove myself to be innocent of any wrongdoing. And yet, regarding what Miss Maylie reminded me about Miss Tenero, I can't allow my investigation to end here. The truth must come to light. Ba-da-da-da-da. We're gonna keep going. I just need to make sure I hydrate. But also, chat, we've been going at this for an hour. We have to make sure you take care of yourself as well. Everyone in chat, please stretch, hydrate, do what you gotta do, go to the bathroom. You are the Tamagotchi. You take care of you. At the Hope Spring Airport. Oh, the guy in the back! He was in the Steel Samurai episode. I know that once we have landed, I'm supposed to let the local police take over. And thanks to Miss Tenero and Miss Maylie, I was able to preserve the crime scene. But I just can't shake it. I wasn't able to talk to Miss Tenero in private. So I'm left wondering, what was she up to? Why did she do what she did? There must be a way for me to continue my investigation. I'm trying to think of the music. Francesca? I've been expecting you, Miles Edgeworth. Hey! Francesca, I thought you were still in Germany. I go where I am needed. And wherever there are criminals to be caught. Her name is Francesca von Karma. The daughter of my mentor, Manfred von Karma. She's myself a prosecutor. Are you heading up to case? It would be a bit of a relief if you are. Don't you try to flatter me, Miles Edgeworth. I'm placing you under arrest. What? It's quite frustrating, actually. I had hoped to exact my revenge on you in a different venue. But I'll have to take what I can get. I never thought I'd see the day when a disciple of the House of Von Karma would be a criminal. Have you no shame? What? This has been a big misunderstanding. I didn't kill the victim. A misunderstanding? I heard all about the murder over the police radio from the captain himself. You waited for the victim on the first floor, and then you beat him to death. Francesca, do you honestly believe that I killed a man? I suppose I shall reserve judgment after I investigated this for myself. I can put you on hold until then. That is as it should be. Ah, I don't need a lecture on how to perform my duties from you of all people. To be perfect in every way is the fulfillment creed alone I strive for. Well, I have my own creed in which I must fulfill, so why don't we solve this together? I have to get going. The crime scene awaits. Don't you dare leave town. Trust me, I had no intention to. Detective Grumshoe! Yes, sir! Too slow! Oh! Listen up, I'm leaving you in charge of watching this man. Don't mess up, understand? Mr. Edgeworth, I'm supposed to guard him? A simple yes or no, detective. Heck! Yes, sir, I understood, sir! Just leave it to me! Miles Edgeworth? If you interfere with my investigation, I'll arrest you on the spot. Are we clear? Now then, if you'll excuse me. Good to see you again, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Boy, am I glad to see you're okay. So, okay, so this is taking place before the first case of this game. What time is it? It's gotta be previous day, I think. I believe in you, sir. You can lean on me. I'll get you through this. I have to admit I'm a bit curious to see what Francesca is up to. Maybe I should ask the good detective. Very well, in that case I have a few questions for you. A child seems to be happily enjoying the sight of many planes. Wow, I would love to take a run down that runway. Oh, the youth today, so much potential, yet so misguided. Looking for behind. I think I've seen this man somewhere before. Nom 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 nom. Hold on, we're gonna make this better. Gonna open me a little snack. If I can open it. Ah! Nom 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 nom. I'm Soviet Russia, world flag numbers is eat. No. 100. Whoa! Whoa! Found it! Whoa! Oh my god. Oh my... Oh, I feel a wave of creative powers coming on! It's over 9,000! LOL! For my next Elite movie, it's going to be the Steel Samurai Warrior of the Neo Old Tokyo versus the World Samurai Champion of the Earth. It's going to rock so many boxers. Boxers?
Rocks, oxers. So many box oxers. Was I being too loud? Okay, I don't see any of the cats up here.
Salmonella.
He's from the first game, yeah! That's why I was like, oh, he's really... I remember him from a case. But the cases kind of start wibbly wobbly mashing into one another. There's only certain ones that I can tell you, like, hey, this is from this game. So the Steel Samurai is finally getting a movie. This man was in the first class with me. He's quite shaken up by the whole affair. I did it. I made it through the whole flight. I'm not scared of turbulence anymore. Rock sores. Rock sores. So many box sores. Oh, that's what it was. I was like, what am I reading? Thank you for that, Flitchard. He must have been pretty scared. He's repeating the same thing over and over to himself. Lunchland. Not bad, I guess. It's gotten big enough to warrant its own brand shop. Which one should I go with? I recommend our airport special World Flag lunchboxes, only available for a limited time. We have a variety of lunchboxes made up to look like different countries' flags. I wonder if they're aiming to take Lunchland to the international market. So how is the initial investigation going? We just shipped the body off to the coroner's office. And we're taking statements right now, sir. That sounds like Francesca. She was always so good at quick responses to a case. I say she's a little too quick, sir. Oh, how so? I rushed over here as soon as I got word of the affair, sir. But somehow, when I got here, Miss Von Karma was already here barking out orders at everyone. It was kind of creepy, as though she knew that there had been a murder or something, and had come in advance to wait your flight's arrival. That's sort of odd. She did show up rather quickly, and out of the blue. Plus, I don't know why she's here in America. There must be some backstory to all of this. Oh my gosh. I want to say that she left to try to be somewhere. So weird. Miss Von Karma just popped up at the prosecutor's office about a week ago, sir. Something about chasing down leads related to a certain incident. No details? It's kind of top secret, so she can't talk about it, even with me, sir. Knowing her, the only type of talking she likes to do is with her whip. Plus, I doubt the top secret part is what stopped her talking to you, Detective. Although I wonder if her case has anything to do with mine. Anyway, that's all the info I have, sir. We should find out more as we investigate. Yes, it's high time to resume my investigation. Starting with talking to the people involved in this case afresh. So you must be the captain. Why, yes, I am, and who might you be? I am the prosecutor. I am the prodigy prosecutor, Francesca Von Karma, and I have a few questions for you. Don't you dare, Captain, getting friendly with another woman. I'll never forgive you if you do. Wait, what? What are you talking about? I only have eyes for you, my dear Cammy. I wouldn't bet money on our dear captain being much of a reputable person. Are you sure you don't want to ask the captain some questions, sir? Cammy mean 90. Oh! Oh my gosh! I can't believe I didn't get that! Chamomile? Like chamomile tea that helps you drink when you sleep? Oh! Oh my gosh. Hold on, we have to put a certain thing on me now because I'm I'm ashamed that it took me reading that and then saying it in my head a few times for it to arrive, for me to get it. I'm just, hold on. There we go. It took me too long to realize that. Oh no! He was in the cockpit the entire time. I highly doubt he would know anything of use. Anyway, I would like to leave that type of witness to Francesca and her whip. Ah! Not used to here. Ah! Sorry. I'm so sorry. How long do you intend to hold me? It is impossible for me to be the criminal. I told you. Mr. LeBlanc. Oh, it's you. Tell this man to stop me from going. For an Archeo Inspector, Edward Chess Set 5 book. What? For an achievement, inspect Edward's chess set 5 book, and then now that Gummy's here, there's a chess set? Was there a chess set? Where's the chess set? Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, I think you have too many red knights on this board. It's just your imagination. And it looks like the blue pawn is being completely surrounded by the red knights. Now you're seeing things. Sir, I don't think you're supposed to have lots of the same pieces in checkers. I know that, detective! What do you take me for? Oh, it's cute! I love it! Okay. Well, I guess what we're gonna do is inspect everyone's area. His jacket's just lying there, spilled over, coffee there too. I don't suppose anyone expects to die. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, this urn's got a seatbelt strapped to it tightly. It must have been great value to Mr. LeBlanc then. Yeah, I guess if you don't want to turn your urn, then it's always best to buckle up. Obviously, but did that have anything to do with the case, detective? Nobody gets my jokes. Look at the book, too. This was my seat. Wow, you read law books even when you're flying, sir? Are you expecting anything else, Les? Now come on, we must hurry off to the crime scene. Hold on a sec, there's a different book. Oh my gosh, this deal said right.
Detective Gumshoe, am I going to charge you with invasion of privacy? Oh. That's cute. Man in this seat was the one that we saw out in the airport lobby, hyperventilating. He's so scared to fly, then why did he take the airplane to begin with? If he's that scared, he should just got a ferry or a cruise ship or something. By the way, were you okay with all the turbulence, Mr. Edgeworth? Ah, yes, it was nothing I couldn't handle. You should have figured, right? You'd get on the plane as... I should have figured as if you'd get on a plane as if you were scared of them. Indeed. That's a really big floaty, but isn't it a bit too early this year for swimming? Detective, that is not for swimming, it's a lifesaver. So you can't swim with one of those. No, I mean, it's both you could, but that's not what they're intended for. Well then I see it's the same as a floaty. You shouldn't go around confusing people, sir. Why do I feel like I just kicked a puppy? Because Detective Gumshoe is a puppy. He is literally the sweetest. Wait, what's this? What's this, Detective? Do you find an important piece of evidence? A giant parfait on top of a bread and steak? Paint me jealous, sir. It's a feast. Maybe I should just let him have the giant parfait so then we can move on. A mountain's worth of empty bottles here. Flitchard, I have a question for you because this was asked in chat. How many bottles are there on this side? Because I think we counted multiple times and we counted multiple answers. And look, all of them have a letter inside, sir. Let's see. I'll order anything as many times as it takes just to see your lovely face. To my beloved Miss Tenero is all what they say, sir. Please put them back in the bottles, Detective. Yeah, I can't destroy the beautiful love here by ruining these letters by accident. So sweet. So I'm assuming you've already played Investigations, Flitchard? Oh, we're gonna wave at the random person. I refuse to be your wingman on this. Looks like we can't go beyond here, sir. Plus, the body has been sent off to the medical examiner for an autopsy. Hey, this statue! What about it, Detective? Did you notice something? I just saw this guy in the dream last night. The resemblance is uncanny, sir. You saw him in your dreams? Well, yeah, I saw him and then I arrested him. I wanted to show off how vital I am to our partnership. Oh, he's such a himbo! I will take no Detective Gumshoe hate on this channel. Being useful in your sleep is no use to help of me in the real world, Detective. Got a piano on this plane? Hey, do you think I could try it out, sir? I think you would know better than to randomly touch things at a crime scene, Detective. Besides, I didn't know you knew how to play. Of course I do. I'm practically proficient. Interesting, the things you learn about people on a daily basis. I can get Dope and Ray to come out just right, sir. He's so cute. Two notes does not a proficient pianist make, Detective. Sir, you can't go in there. I am Miles Edgeworth. I am one of the prosecutors on this case, so please let me through. I'm very sorry, sir. No one is allowed to enter without Miss Von Karma's express permission. But I'm on the case. Yes, I understand that, but
I also have explicit instructions not to let you through Miss Von Karma. Grr, why would you do this to me, Francesca? Did you finish taking the statement yet? Yep, all done, sir. I do not concern if you're not done examining the cargo hold. I want my cargo back. If you make a single scratch on my art, you would pay. Art? What sort of art? Mr. LeBlanc is an art dealer, so he's got a bunch of artwork down in the cargo hold, sir. There's practically a mountain of them, large and small. From folk costumes to stone statues, I sell all sorts of arts. Folk costumes? Speaking of which, Mr. LeBlanc's hat kind of looks like the other pieces of cloth. Mr. LeBlanc, can you take a look at this for me, please? Oh, it's a Bulgarian cloth. As I suspected, your hat is made of the same material, I suppose. Of course this fabric is famous. Orders come from all over the seas for more. Then this cargo you were talking about earlier. No. My cargo this time is much gigantic. You detective! When can I have my cargo moved? You can get your cargo back when we're done investigating, pal. Your stubbornness of you police is no good. And it's no good that the attendant refused to exit the attendant's room too. The attendant? I wonder if he's talking about Miss Tenero. What did you mean by that attendant, Mr. LeBlanc? She was taken into the attendant's room for her interview. And they still have not come out. They make no sign of her coming out either. I was finished with my own interview much earlier, quicker than her. Why is Miss Tenero interview the only one that's taking up so much time? Miles Edgeworth, you were given free rein to examine the plane, weren't you? Yes, I was able to obtain the cooperation of the flight attendants. Speaking of the attendants, I'd like to speak with Miss Tenero. I wonder if you might grant me permission to enter the flight attendant's room. Before I do, you still have to clear up a few issues surrounding your own circumstances. I understand. Are we doing a cross-examination with Francesca? Oh, I'm gonna be ready. I'm ready for this. You may have tricked those attendants with your sophisticated talking, but you can't pull the wool over my eyes, Miles Edgeworth. Let's not complicate things and go with the uttermost obvious conclusion. The scene of the crime was here in the very lounge the body was discovered. From the time the victim was seen calling for an attendant until the body was found, the only person in this lounge in the entire area time was you, Miles Edgeworth. This is unmistakably makes you the likeliest suspect. The likeliest suspect, Francesca. Do you have a problem with that? No, but it's like you to use such vague wording. You're usually a bit more absolute. I'm just trying to watch out for you. Or is my kindness too hard for you to comprehend? Thank you, but your leniency is unnecessary, for I will prove my innocence soon enough. If I continue my investigation, I have to break her line of logic fast. We press everything she's given us. Let's not complicate things and go with the most obvious conclusion.
Hold it!
Don't you think you're being a bit too rash by simply declaring me the culprit? I like my affairs to be simple and perfect. I'll show you the meaning of both when I'm finished with this whole thing within 3 minutes. Hey, you said that you were cooking a pack of instant ramen. Ow! I won't allow for even 3 seconds of useless testimony to be uttered in my presence. I see she hasn't changed a bit, but I won't allow her to send me to prison so easily. Tell me, Francesca, do you know all there is to know about the crime scene? All I need to know is in order to arrest you, and nothing more. Are you saying there's more I need to know? Ah! Why did you whip me, sir? Sorry, Scruffy, my hands must have slipped. It would appear Francesca doesn't have all the facts of this case yet. What do you mean by scene? Please stop pretending like you don't know. It's insulting. Obviously, I'm talking about how Mr. Hicks was seen calling for an attendant at 5 a.m. And then from the time after the call-in till the body was found. Well, it's true that I was in the lounge. We already know the murder took place elsewhere, right? Yeah, we do. I just want to press just to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Fact alone doesn't make me a criminal. We'll see about that in the conclusion of this investigation. However, there's one thing that's even you must admit to this at this time. Quiet, Scruffy! Even if we were related by blood, that's no guarantee that he's not a criminal. Francesca, I demand to see some proof that you're not guilty party. Okay. It would appear that you did not have all the information you needed after all. And what does that mean? I found a nice piece of evidence just before I was forced to stop investigating. Piece of evidence that proved the body was moved from a different location. Ugh! The killer used a suitcase to move the victim's body, meaning that the real scene of the crime is not this lounge at all. Now, who's the one rationally jumping to conclusions? Excuse me? All you did was find a piece of cloth inside the suitcase. That doesn't prove the body was moved. It could be the killer simply chose the suitcase as a good place to hide the cloth. I expected you would come to that conclusion. It seems I can't escape that easily. You should know better than that. Yvonne Karma is perfect in every way. Ah, but did you know the killer definitely wheeled the suitcase around at some point? As if there's proof of that. Yeah, we're gonna say that's wheeled. You spilled grape juice in front of the elevator? Yes, and I'd like to draw your attention to this area here. Right here? Yeah, we're gonna go here. This mark here, wouldn't you say that looks like suspicious like tracks from 2 wheels? I suppose. Further, it's also grape juice residue on the wheels of the suitcase. That means the suitcase contains the victim's body definitely passed through here. I suppose this means that the killer did move the victim's body from somewhere else. I'm glad you come to your senses. Not so fast. This does not put you in the clear. Not by a long shot. Here we go again. You prepared yourself and acquired the piggy bank before the plane hit the turbulence. Nope! And then you waited for the victim in the lounge where you beat him to death. And while you were in the elevator with the victim's body stuffed into the suitcase, the plane hit a patch of turbulence and flew the body out from within the suitcase. With no way out, you hastily pushed the suitcase back where you had taken it from, and proceeded to discover the body. Not bad of logic for something you thought of on the fly. Just what are you insinuating? I'll show you exactly how flawed your logic is. No matter how strong of a face you put on, not even you can hide your fears from me. I'll expose the flaws in her logic in one fell swoop. The fact that you took this piece of evidence into account into your testament is to be commended. Your legal prowess is certainly something to be feared. Evidence and logic. Essential tools of those who would stand in the courtroom must learn to master. But what if there was a fake piece of evidence thrown into the mix? A fake? This Captain Ogo piggy bank is just a fake. It's not the real murder weapon. What? The timing of when this bank was taken from the shop is important. And it was taken after the turbulence had occurred. Well, what about the blood on the bank? What do you make of that? I assumed it was added after the murder when the killer fabricated this weapon. Looking at it this way, the killer basically did 3 things after the turbulence. After exiting the elevator, the killer brought the suitcase to the shop and left it there. And then the killer proceeded to pick up the bank from off the floor and took it to fabricate a murder weapon by hitting the victim on the head. And finally, the victim's wallet was planted in my personage, in the pocket to be precise. Everything was done so well that I would be framed for the murder of Mr. Akabe Hicks. You there! Yes, ma'am. Other than this piggy bank, was anything else resembling a murder weapon found? We didn't find anything in this lounge or in the shop that could be used as one. Are we saying that phone is a Nokia phone and that dense brick motherfucker phone was the murder weapon? Most of the items could have been used or broken during turbulence. And the remaining items have tested negative for any traces of blood. I see. Well, Miles, Edwards appeals your stall tactics are at an end. Is it possible that it's just hidden somewhere, sir? Eek! If the criminal had wanted to hide the weapon in a safer place, I think the weapon would be hidden in the same place as the bloody cloth. Exactly what I was thinking. Because the cloth was hidden inside the suitcase. Signals to me that the killer had not prepared a more secured place to hide the evidence. Which means that the real murder weapon is either still on the murderer's personage, or is at the real crime scene. I want to know what Miss De Niro's motives were for the kill. Like, why did she do that? And also, Live, Laugh, Mar, Murder seems like a beautiful movie. I love that even though he's not in court, he's still screaming objection all the time. I love that. I love that so much. Also, I'm snacking on a little snack. It's like really gummy. It's taking a while for it to be in my mouth. I didn't expect for it to be in my mouth this long. Ugh, okay. Yes, the objections is just beautiful to hold it. The Eureka was the one that threw me off. Honestly, hearing Eureka the first time was like, wait, what was that? And it was at that time the glass pane on the door was broken. I'd say that's a perfectly reasonable line of reasoning, wouldn't you? Let's see, so that means the killer had the key to the display case. Francesca, the person you're talking about. Not so fast, I'm not finished. The person I'm talking about also committed another sin. She tricked the captain. And granted you permission to conduct your investigation. Yes, it's the sin of lying. Speaking of which, I also recall that you also wish to speak to her. Yes. Very well, permission granted. But only if I can sit in your interrogation. Do we understand each other? I have no intention of interrogating her. But you're welcome to accompany me if you so wish. Miss Tenero's the flight attendants in the flight attendants room. Let's move. No, gotta go back down. I'm thinking Miss Teneros is the top bunk. And Chamomile is the bottom. So you're the one who poked inside this plane without the captain's permission. Deviating from the flight attendant's manual is very unbecoming, you know. What were you hoping to accomplish by doing that? Miss Tenero. Ah, Mr. Edgeworth, you're here too. Can you please help us shed some light on why you did what you did? Alright. What's all this junk inside these boxes? There's no rhyme or reason for any of it. That's our lost and found, Mr. Edgeworth. Old crowns, swords, necklaces. It's like a treasure trove in here, sir. The fact that these were all left on the plane, they were carried on to begin with. Something tells me it's time for Goyu to send its metal detectors out for repairs. And what are these insides of these boxes? Oh, those are some souvenirs I bought in Borgania. There's so many! There's even a second box! Well, yes, I find that folk art around the world does great things for my creativity. Those suitcases certainly have done with a whole lot of less of your creativity. It's one of those suitcases designed by Miss Tenero. You can tell it's hardly been used by the lack of even a single scratch on it. So these are the attendants' lockers, huh? Let's hurry up and examine them, sir. Why must men always be so rude? Besides, who exactly gave you permission to search the attendants' lockers? Wait, detective! It would be uncouth for us to look at a woman's locker without her permission. Yeah, I guess so. Plus, I feel like this murder's draft, and I can sense a whip not far behind it. There's sure to be a clue in some sort of this trash can. Detective Gumshoe, if you please. Yes, sir. Just leave the rummaging to me. Scruffy, how dare you go through a woman's trash without her permission? Have you no sense of honor? Eek! I'm sorry. I'm just doing what Mr. Edgeworth told me to do. Ow! Forgive me, detective. Okay, so... Why did you lie about receiving the captain's permission like that? Because I didn't think I would be able to get his permission. What do you mean? The captain. He only has ears for Cammy. I spoke with the captain a little earlier myself. He definitely seems to be rather taken with Miss Meal. Yes, and on top of that, I'd mistakenly accused Mr. Edgeworth of being the killer. Ow! Stop! Tato abuse! I wanted to make amends. In that case, please allow me to thank you for what you did. Thanks to you, I was able to clear myself of all charges. Really? You were able to prove your innocence? Oh, thank goodness! Tato abuse it. Okay, no! Ow! This is abuse. Miss Tenero, is it? There's one more thing I'd like to ask you. You were in the in-flight shop just before the turbulence, weren't you? Please, and answer honestly. Yes, I was. And why were you there? Well, why the sudden hesitation? Francesca seems to have struck a nerve. Not abuse, mod privilege. Alright, I'll believe that. All I did to go check up in the shop like I always do. You're saying it was for work then? Yes, I'm in charge of the shop, so I have to keep an eye on it. I don't have any reason to go there otherwise. After you visit the shop, you paid a visit to the room, correct? Oh yes, I came back for a freshen up and adjust my makeup. I'm sorry, but there isn't much to tell. Okay, back to lurking, no worries. Mr. Nero claims to have no reason other than duty to go to the shop. But is that all to it? Maybe I should ask her about that thing. I'm sorry, Mr. Edgeworth. I don't know how to answer you. As a professional flight attendant, I am a failure. She must be worn out from the long questioning session she just went through. I'm a failure too. Why would you say that? What? Why would you say that you're a failure? You could... But I'm not a flight attendant. I mean, are you not a professional flight attendant? Are you not a professional, fan of a streamer? Mr. Nero, if you could please take a look at this. Oh, that suitcase! Yes, about the suitcase. You're the one who designed it, correctly? And I figured something else about it. This suitcase is the reason you went to the shop, isn't it? There's nothing you won't find out eventually, is there? Won't you please tell me more about the suitcase? Yes, I was interested in seeing how the suitcase I had was designed was selling. I know that there's a service professional and I'm not supposed to care. But I really wanted to know. And I'm glad to see that it was the last one there. The last one there? That's not right. So you're saying, Mr. Nero, that the suitcase in question was the last one? Yes, they're just so popular, they're practically flying off the shelves. It's not exactly the impression I got. The one in the shop is most definitely the last one. Oh, we're currently looking at that suitcase. Really? Then I guess we sold all of them. Thank you so very much for taking the last one. I didn't say anything about buying it! Then say you'll buy it! I'm sorry, I can't. But why? I think you'd go great with your complexion, Mr. Edgeworth. It would really suit you. I guarantee personally as a service professional. Well, that is, how should I put this? It's hideous. What? Huh, maybe that was a bit too direct. Moving on, my issue with the suitcase isn't the design, it's the number of them remaining. Remaining? There were 2 suitcases in the in-flight shop when I investigated it. 2? But that's impossible. I'm sure there was only 1. Looks like her story generated quite the contradiction. When I left the shop, I'm positive there was only 1 suitcase left. Something's amiss here. What could be the meaning of this inconsistency? By the way, Miss Tenero, what is one of the suitcases doing here? That's just as I thought. You said there was only 1 left? That one is, it's mine. I've used it for a very long time now. She used it for a long time? I think not. Miss Tenero, I appreciate if you wouldn't lie to me. Excuse me? I don't believe for 1 second that you've used it for a very long time. Tell me, Mr. Nero, is it also your habit to keep price tags on pristine suitcase? Ah! What's the meaning of this? Why would you lie about a suitcase? Despite having faith in her design sense, the sales number made her cry bitter tears. The truth is becoming increasingly clear to me. Mr. Nero, I think I understand. I know what you're trying to hide. Now then, this suitcase was originally in the flight shop. Seeing how the price tag is still on the suitcase, one can only assume that it was out on the sales floor. And the person who bought the suitcase no, she bought her own suitcase. It was you, wasn't it, Miss Tenero? I hate to say this, but the suitcase that you designed hasn't sold very well, has it? You saw how poorly this design you poured your heart was selling, and were deeply hurt. That's why you wanted to make it look like it was selling by buying it yourself. Isn't that right? And then the reason you went to the shop and came back here was... I'm sorry. All I really have is my job. I was overjoyed when my design was chosen. And I thought maybe I had finally accomplished something. But the suitcase didn't sell. It's because of the design, isn't it? All because, as you put it, hideous. Can't say they chose a great place to sell either. We weren't selling a single one, and then they just were sitting there collecting dust. I felt so bad seeing them there day in and day out. So I decided to buy one for every flight I worked. You buy one for every time you work a single flight? I see, so in order to keep your resolution, you went and bought one today as well. Yes, and here's my receipt for that purchase. This receipt is clearly timestamped at 5:40. The truth is, there's still a bunch of them left unsold. We're planning to scrap the remaining ones at the end of this flight. Mr. Nero, where are the other suitcases? They should be all down in the cargo hold. Then the suitcase the killer used could very well have come from the cargo hold. Mr. Edgeworth, do you think that the killer used one of my suitcases too? Yes, I do. The killer used one of your beloved suitcases to move the victim's body. Ah! How could they? Those suitcases were meant to fulfill partners to our... Those suitcases were meant to be faithful partners to our passengers on their trips. That's all what I ever wished for them to be. Mr. Nero, is there any other way to get to the cargo hold other than the elevator? The only other way is just through that door there. And what about security? That door has no special locks installed because, just to enter this room, you need a special keycard that only crew members have access to. Which means the culprit is someone who can enter this room, eliminate the passengers, and only leaving the crew members as potential suspects. I can't believe it. Hold it! Yes, Francesca? Going on these wild goose chases, you're a disgrace to the Von Karma name. And what do you mean by that? The suitcase came from the cargo hold, and the fact alone tells the whole story. Which is why I said the culprit must be a crew member who used a keycard. Miles Edgeworth! You were proposing that the killer rode the elevator from the cargo hold, remember? Yes, that's correct. The only realistic possibility. That other attendant, Miss Maylie. I asked her earlier and she had to say this. Francesca got information out of Miss Maylie. In order to make the elevator go up and down the cargo hold, a different keycard is required. A different one. Yes, and the only person who holds that particular keycard is you, Miss Rhonda Tenero, and only you. Ah! What? Is it true, Mr. Nero? Yes, I keep that key card in my locker at all time. Could you please show us that card right now? Yes, hold on. Ah! I don't believe it! What's wrong? The key card, it's gone! Very clever, pretending that your card was stolen when in fact you're just trying to hide it from us. You really thought this through. Wait, it's not like that! You can tell us all what it's like down at the station. Officer, arrest this woman. Yes, madam. Mr. Edgeworth? What's wrong? There's disbelief written all over your face. Francesca, I know that you're the lead investigator in this case, however. Hold it! Don't even think about wasting any more of my time. You know the rules as well as I do. Evidence speaks louder than words. Even if this is a courtroom, there's a base tenet still applies. I intend to investigate the cargo hold now. What will you do, Miles Edgeworth? I intend to do likewise. Dun dun dun! As long as my voice is willing, we are going to finish this, this case. Wow, so this is a cargo hold, huh? It's so big! This plane is a special model. It has both a super large cargo hold and ultra luxurious first class seating. As the actress said to the bishop. So this is the real scene of the murder. There's certainly a high potential probability of that, which is why we're here, correct? Okay, let's investigate, sir. Oh. Tasty winery. Flammable. Is wine flammable? That is wine flammable? Is wine flammable? The lowest temperature, the so-called flash point at which wine can be formed enough alcohol vapor to ignite, is at 125 degrees. So hot wine can easily produce enough alcohol vapor to catch on fire. Huh. So generally, no, it's not, but it needs certain criterias to be considered flammable. This one says flammable, and this one says pharmaceuticals. This one says for exorcisms only. Why do we have one for exorcisms on a plane? Oh my god! What kind of operation is this airline running? And what's with the suitcase, pal? It was the victim's checked in, sir. The suitcase belonged to Mr. Hicks. I don't think he would mind if we took a closer look. There's nothing out of the ordinary in here, sir. Wait, a file? Oh yeah, there's a photo of Miss Von Karma in it, sir. It looks like the profile of Francesca. And why would Mr. Hicks have a file on her? Holy suitcases, Mr. Edgeworth. It's like an all-you-can-use suitcase fair. These must be the all leftover ones they couldn't sell. The ones the company is planning to dispose of after the flight is over. Paint job is really cool, don't you think? It practically screams artsy. Oh, why not purchase one then? I'm sure it'll bring much happiness. You think so? Maybe I will. Let's see here. $1,200! I think I'll pass. And Mr. Narrows wonders why they don't sell. You need 2 jobs just to buy one. Although it definitely looks like one is missing. What's this brittle substance I'm stepping on? A bunch of glass fragments. I think we can safely conclude that these fragments are from a pair of glasses. And the victim was wearing a pair of broken glasses. Exactly what I was thinking. I'm sure that the shards would match up perfectly with the remains of his glasses lenses. Ergo, the victim was here, just as I suspected. So you're saying that the real scene of the crime scene was here, sir? Isn't that what I've been saying for a while now? Oh, is it? I don't know that. Perhaps it's a bit early to draw that conclusion. However, I believe that's the probability that's just skyrocketed considerably. And all that's left is to find the murder weapon. Bed sheets. Keeping track of this many pieces of cargo must be very taxing on the cargo crew. It sure brings back memories when I worked as a part-time mover, sir. By the looks of his eyes, he's waiting for me to ask him about the rest of the story. No matter how he pours his puppy eyes, I have no intention of doing so. Just tell us about the time you were a mover. Okay, so we already saw that. We've looked at this. We can't go that way. We've examined that, so let's talk to Francesca. You arrived at the scene of the crime before the detective Grum shoot, correct? and you immediately began to direct the investigation. It seems to me that you're already here about this airport for something besides the murder. Yes, I was. Why at the airport? I've been following a very large and involved government-leveled international crime, but it's much too large for one person to take on alone. So it was decided that I should form a joint investigation with Interpol. Interpol's involved. It's a top-secret organization, so I really can't tell you any more than I have. So why would Mr. Hicks have documents profiling Francesca? Oh, I know. I bet he's a big fan of Miss Von Karma, sir. Francesca said that she had come to this airport as part of an Interpol investigation. Oh, maybe Mr. Hicks had heard she was coming here and he followed her? Detective, I think it's more likely Miss Hicks was actually an Interpol agent Hicks. And I think Francesca has some explaining to do. You came to this airport to rendezvous with the victim, didn't you? Nonsense! What are you talking about? We found a profile detailing information on you in the victim's luggage. I suppose it was prepared for him so that way he could recognize you when he landed. Which makes him not Mr. Hicks, but rather Interpol Agent Hicks, isn't that correct? Should have known who'd figure it out, Miles. But it looks like they got to him first. So you really did come here to receive an Interpol agent, did you then? Yes. And Agent Hicks was on the trail of a very large international smuggling ring. Which is the captain? And I was the one who put him onto this case. I was supposed to receive a call from him on his cell phone once he landed, but I never expected to receive a call about his murder instead. I think we now have pretty much definite evidence that Agent Hicks came down here to the cargo hold. What was he doing down here, sir? There's nothing but luggage. Oh, I get it. Maybe he forgot something in his suitcase and came down to get it? Agent Hicks came down here for a work-related reason. That I'm sure of. Yeah, I'm sure he was here to investigate the smuggling operation he was observing. Francesca, do you know exactly how he intended to pursue his investigation? No, unfortunately. I was going to find out from him after he landed. I see, but this raises another question. A normal passenger can't access the cargo hold on their own. Agent Hicks must have identified himself to a member of the crew and entered the cargo hold with that person who let him in. And yes, then he was murdered here. These glass fragments of his glasses are testament to that. And then the killer put Agent Hicks into one of the spare suitcases and they entered the elevator, but while they were riding up, the plane hit a patch of turbulence. Because of the intended shaking of the suitcase popped open and Agent Hicks's body flew out. At the same time, his wallet fell out of his pocket, spilling its contents everywhere. That explains why there was money scattered all over the elevator floor. I think it's pretty easy to say who the culprit is at this stage. What? Really, sir? I know what you're thinking, Miss Miles Edgeworth. That's $1,200 a suitcase per flight. To narrow, flight attendants don't make that much money. I don't think it's to narrow. if a crew member and any of the could have shown Agent Hicks to the cargo. The point is to keep in mind the key card that allows the elevator to come down here. The only person with such a high-level access is Miss Rhonda Tenero. I say that's a pretty decisive piece of information, wouldn't you? Okay, let's see. Miss Mealy, I thought you might have asked about her. But the point is to keep in mind that the key card allows the elevator to come up and down here. But it's highly likely that the key card was stolen from Miss Tenero. It's highly likely. Is it possible that is possibility the best you can come up with? And you call yourself a discipline of my father. Yes, well, I don't have any evidence. Be quiet, you're a disgrace. There's more evidence pointing to Miss Rhonda Tenero, as you know. It's just not the keycard that gives us away. What are you talking about, the murder weapon? The Captain Uggo piggy bank? Yes, she's also the only person with the key to open the display case. But that's just a fake. Stop it right there, Miles Edgeworth. You don't have any proof that this is a red herring. You must keep on, if you must insinuating that it's a fake. Then what is the real murder weapon and where did it go? Ugh. Speechless, I see. That's not surprising. After all, you know what we searched for this entire cargo hold and came up empty-handed. There must be a way. There must be something that can help me rule out piggy bank as a murder weapon. The hat? The autopsy. I'm so used to having the autopsy for the case reports. Oh, was I? Yes, we don't even have the autopsy results yet. How can I not say that you made a snap judgment when we've yet to see if the wound on Agent Hicks' head is consistent with the murder weapon? Scruffy! Yes, sir! Contact the medical examiner's office at once! I wish to hear the results of Agent Hicks' autopsy. Eek! Yes, sir! We've got a big problem, Mr. Edgeworth, sir! What is it, detective? They're still doing the autopsy, but they said they already know one thing's for sure. Report, now. The doc said that the one giant bruise from the beating... The doc said that it's one giant bruise from a beating from his shoulder down to his mid-back. From the victim's shoulder down to his mid-back, he was beaten over with such a wide area? Well, I'd say it's a sign of a killer had a grudge against Agent Hicks. And it wasn't just his head, the killer went all out and hit him in multiple areas, sir. Scruffy. What is had a grudge against Agent Hicks supposed to mean? Oh, that is, Was the wound on the victim's head consistent with the murder weapon, Detective? Oh, well, they said that they're still looking into that, sir. You completely useless. Yo! Sir, I told you already, you can't go down there. No, you have to remove yourself from my way. What's all this racket? Dang, he is really, like, pushing it. My luggage, my cargo, they're mine. I demand them you return them to me. We're still investigating the cargo. Please hold and understand and have a little bit more patience. I suppose there's no choice. Finally, I think he gave... Hey, what are you? You left me no choice but to use strong force. Hag! You won't get past me. This? Wait, that's it. So this is what this whole thing has been about. Finally, there's a matter, the key to display the held murderous bank. After all, you know that we searched the entire cargo hold and came up empty-handed. Doc said that it was one giant bruise beating from his shoulder down to his mid-back. No! Okay, so I did... Ah, shit. Oh, I'm gonna need a save scum, aren't I? This is... I'm going to, like... Allegedly, the killer struck the victim many times over, which is why there's extensive bruising in such a wide area. But is that really the correct conclusion to draw from the evidence? The bruise from his shoulder to the middle of his back is one continuous mark, which is more suggestive of a single blow to the back. If that's the case, then the piggy bank is much too small to cause that. Therefore, the murder weapon must be something far bigger. we're looking for a rather large weapon, you would think it would stick out. But so far we haven't found anything that resembles a weapon of any sort. Perhaps, just perhaps, it's something we all overlooked from the beginning. Because normally, it's too impossibly big to be taken into consideration. What was that all about? Francesca. What do you want? I found it, Francesca. I found the real murder weapon. You did? You really jumped? You didn't realize it till now, but the answer has been right in front of us this whole time. He might be hurt. We should go check up on him, sirs. It's a promptest attitude, yours again. You should learn to drop that habit. This is coming from a prosecutor with the habit of whipping everyone she comes across. Anyway, if you're really a prosecutor, then you'll back yourself up with evidence. You two aren't listening at all, are you? Come on, show me this real murder weapon you speak of. Huh, I don't have any evidence to show you. Foolish reasoning for a foolish fool from a foolish fool. Hold on. Foolish reasoning for a foolish fool from a foolish fool meant to fool me. What do you mean I don't have any evidence to show? Perhaps I should have phrased it as that which caused Agent Hicks' death was incorporeal. Forgive me, but I do believe I figured out what the real cause of death. The victim fell from the great height and subsequently died as a result. In other words, the real cause of death is free falling to the ground. He fell to his death? Yes, this is the only plausible possibility. The victim has an extensive bruising on his back of his head to his back, and the only rational explanation for these injuries is that he fell to his death. But the murder happened inside this plane. I know. Are you claiming that there is some place in this plane which he could have fallen from? As I said earlier, the answer has been right in front of us this whole entire time. You can't mean. Yes, I do. The victim fell from the top of the stairs to this very cargo hold. What? Then we're in trouble. We may have a second death on our hands, sir. Hey, you! Tell me you aren't dead, pal! Quiet! Why are you screaming? He's alive! There you have it, Miles Edgeworth. It's not possible that Agent Hicks fell over the railing to his death. That man is living proof of that. God, y'all are assholes! I suppose it's true that it's not possible, given the current circumstances. The current circumstances? What is that supposed to mean? Suppose that large piece of cargo wasn't there at the time. What would have happened then? He would have been a Borginian pancake for sure, sir. I suppose that man over there wouldn't still be breathing. But the reality is that that cargo box is there. So there's no point entertaining your wild hypothetical scenario. It may be there now, but there's no proof that it was always there. Huh! As there could have been a window of time when a giant box was not there. Ah, but there was. What? Ah. Refueled in the Republic of Zepha? Yes, this laid out a short layover in Zepha in order to refuel. But that wasn't the only reason for the layover. We also transferred some cargo. But what if that box was the only transferred onto the plane at that time? And to further prove my point, let's look at what the next box in question. It's labeled as Zafeng Express. Correct. It was loaded onto this plane in Zafeng. Now what if the box in question was also loaded at the same time? It would mean that the box was not there in the cargo hold during the Europe-Zafeng leg of the flight. making a clear drop from which Agent Hicks could have fallen to his death possible. Oh, but your theory's still very far-fetched. Hi, Twin. Welcome in. How are you? And allow me to prove my very likely scenario is. My first order of business will be to examine that piece of cargo in more detail. Okay. I've already clicked that before. We're good. Hidden and I just came back from vacation in Maine this week. Welcome back. I'm not gonna lie, I thought this was going to be the event that something special was going to happen. There's a tag on it, sir. Let's see. A leaf red statue. Never heard of it. Nor I, but all that I care is to see to prove it wasn't here at the time of the crime. Then let's get investigating, sir. Why do you have a dumb crown? Because there's a flight attendant called Camel Lee, and she's very nappy, very sleepy, and it took until Fletcher to point it out. And I'm like, oh, we're just gonna put a dumb crown because I'm dumb. I'm dumb. I didn't realize that that's a pun on like sleepy time. So this belongs to Mr. LeBlanc, does it? I should see what else I can find from him. I take it that this large piece of cargo belongs to you, Mr. LeBlanc? Of course it's mine. I shipped it this fine piece of art from Europe. And this olive red stone is much worth 10 billion. Ow! I'm being abused. Thank you for the biddies. I missed this. The chaos. Mr. LeBlanc's reasoning for choosing this plane must have been the large cargo hold. 10 million cents? I suggest you stop trying to calculate how many packets of noodles that makes, Detective. Darn! How did you do that? I feel like you keep getting better and better at seeing right through me every year. Though I grow with each revolution of the planet around the sun, I have the distinct impression that he continues to madly spin in place. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, so that 10 million cents, is that euros or in dollars? Does it really make a difference to our case? Mr. LeBlanc, is there a chance your cargo is related to our murder case? I was wondering if you would allow us to examine it a bit closer. It is a very valuable piece of art, so no, there would be no touching. If Mr. LeBlanc has something to do with the smuggling ring, then it's possible this fake statue was brought on board Zafar. I need to question him a bit further. About your statue, Mr. LeBlanc, I wonder if it might be a fake. What? How dare you say my art is fake? I suspect your statue might be a target of an international smuggling ring. You dare say fantastical things! Those thieves would not dare! I have the certification of my cargo right here. Do you mean the cargo certification document? Mr. Zinc LeBlanc, why didn't you say so earlier? Please show this at once. I can't read this. What does this even say? It's as plain as day the cargo was put in the plane in Europe. And there you have it, Mr. Miles Edgeworth. Too bad for you. The statue was brought on board in Europe, and just as it states in the certificate. No, that's... Which means that there never was a window of time the statue wasn't sitting there. I respectfully disagree. We can't discount the theory until I see the statue for myself. Fine! Have your wish! Look at it yourself and see I am right! I've seen it somewhere before. This is the Ali Riff. Gives off such a feeling of art. I can practically smell it. The statue has a high amount of historical value. After it was unveiled in a museum in Europe, I brought this to a country to exhibit. I believe a closer look is warranted. So this is the famous Ali Ref statue, huh? What is it, Mr. Edgewood? Did you find something? Something wrong with this picture. We should examine it more in detail. The eyes are off. Those eyes are awfully orange, don't you think? Yeah, and they're pretty. They remind me of sunsets when I was in grade school, sir. I don't think you see what I'm talking about. No, I do. They're like really the color of the sun when it's setting, sir. Ah, the memories. I remember standing out in the field spinning with my arms until I fell ill. I don't care about the sunsets. Focus, detective. What color are the eyes in this photo? Huh? Ah! Sir, they're red! As I thought, this statue's a fake. Mr. LeBlanc. What do you want? Do you not know I'm a busy man? I will allow you 2 seconds for your answer. The Ali Ref, I suppose, in your pride and joy, is it not? It is the biggest trophy on this European trip. Do you not know why I wanted to possess this statue? The trigger started 17 years ago. Better go grab a chair, sir. Sounds like this is going to be a long story. Mr. LeBlanc, I regret to inform you that you have my heartfelt sympathies, but... What is it? Sympathy? For what? You'll see, I'd like you to compare the eyes. That large fellow has bright and pretty eyes compared to you. I wasn't talking about the two of us. I meant the eyes of the statue in front of us and the one in this photo. Why the sudden yelling? No, then... Oh... It's a photo of the statue displayed in the museum in Europe. No! Now, what do you see, Mr. LeBlanc? The statue before us is a fake. A fake! I believe that even further examination will be required. Now that we have confirmation this is indeed a fake, there must be some sort of proof that this was brought on board in Zafa. I will present this evidence to resolve the remaining contradiction. What did you say now? Further, my clothing hem has not been stepped on by anyone. It's too expensive for me to allow it to happen. Please forgive the trespasses of my subordinate. Why should I forgive the dress passes, unless it's an expensive dress you keep? What do we have here? It says Zafang Express on the cloth, sir. Something I'm tugging in the corner of my mind is though it seems out of place. It's not entirely confident that... No! Did we just lose a little bit of... Oh, this hurts me. There's a clear contradiction here. What are you going on about? It's just a simple case of cargo getting stuck under another piece of cargo. Ah, that's not possible. But it is. Shouldn't it be this way the statue is on top of the cloth? Supposing that the neighboring piece of cargo was brought onto Zafa. There's no way that any part of this should wind up under something from Europe. Which means this is a fake statue was smuggled on board. Then what about the cargo certificate? Let me ask in return, what about Agent Hicks? Why did he come down here from the middle of his flight? There's only one reason to secure proof of smuggling activity aboard this flight. You say, but I don't believe he had anything to do mid-flight. We could have just as easily expected the cargo after the plane landed. That may be true, but however, you have it backwards, Francesca. Sure, Agent Hicks could have waited until after the plane had landed. But he had a reason for coming down here to the cargo hold. Suppose he had found the fake at the airport. It would have been after the swap had occurred. That time, the suspicion would naturally fall onto the statue's owner, who would have no way to prove that the statue was switched without his knowledge. Which means there is someone involved in forging and modifying cargo certificates. But I guess the victim knew the real version of this was going to get nabbed, huh? Yes, while this photo could be seen as nothing more as a simple souvenir, it was a fact taken to be used as a reference for a document later on. Next, Agent Hicks would have to secure the proof. I love them ignoring Zinc falling as Gumshoe tries. Right? Gumshoe was like, Sirs, I am panicked. Is he okay? And Edgeworth and Francesca are just like, is he alive though? Like, I don't care. He came down here to take a pic of the cargo hold. Rather empty one right before the fake statue could be loaded on board. Proof of the holding valuable piece of cargo would have been proof enough. After that, all he had to do was hold the Zangfa crew and arrest the smuggler. Exactly. This only goes to prove my theory. The statue was not in the cargo hold during the Europe to Zangfa leg of the trip. There would have been enough height for Agent Hicks that he could have fallen from his death. Officer! Move the statue immediately. I want to thoroughly examine the floor underneath. Now! Miss Von Karma, I'm ready to report my findings. Go on. After moving the Ali Ref statue out of the way, we tested the area with luminol, and there was a reaction. See, there was a reaction to luminol, an indication there was blood in the spot. Can we stop looking at it now, sirs? It would seem that my deduction was correct after all. I suppose it would appear that way. Culprit cleaned up the blood as well. And how do you think the killer did that? How did the killer clean up all the blood? The killer used the bloody cloth I found inside the suitcase to clean up the mess. I see. They had a need to clean up all the blood before the plane landed in Zafa. That's because otherwise the cargo crew would have discovered it during the layover. So you guys are saying that the murder happened before the plane landed in Zhangfa? There's no other conceivable time for events for the murder. If that's true, then there's a certain person's testament into doubt. The murder occurred before we landed, and this person becomes highly suspect. So he saw... I need to read people's testament again. Mr. Abby Hicks was there when he took his seat at 5 a.m. That one's off. I saw Mr. Hicks sitting in his seat at 5 a.m., you know. She claims Agent Hicks was alive at the time of the service calls, but... That totally contradicts the facts, sir! Why would she lie about something like that? I think the only person who can answer that is Miss Maylie herself. Miss Maylie? Huh? Do you recall what you said earlier? About when you answered some service calls as we were departing from Zhangfa? Huh? You said that Mr. Hex was sitting in his seat at that time. However, that is simply not possible, because Mr. Hex was dead long before we ever touched down in Zhangfa. Oh. Miss Cammy Millie! Maybe I didn't see what I thought I did. No one can make a mistake so large, Miss Mealy. But I make that kind of boo-boo all the time. Ugh! This is going nowhere. There must be a better way for solving this contradiction. Very well, Miss Camille. If you please tell us about your alibi during that time span. Just from before we landed from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. when the body was found. Are you telling me I'm a suspect? Yeah. From 3 to 4 I was in the flight attendant's room. All by my lonesome self. Oh yeah. And from 5 to 6, I was in the flight attendant's room, all by my lonesome self. Was a man supposed to react to a testament like that? Miss Mealy, wake up! She fell asleep again. Looks like the only way I'm going to be able to wake her up is by pressing her.
Hold it!
I'm awake, I was, Miles Edgeworth, I demand that you do something about this flight attendant this instant. I asked me to wake her up, you can finally put that whip to inappropriate use.
Hold it!
If I remember correctly, the food was being served in the first class and in the lounge between the hours of 3 to 4 a.m. Yeah, but that kind of stuff is run by Miss Rhonda. And what are you doing at the flight attendant's room at that time? Eating and then having a most delicious dream? You mean you were neglecting your duties? No way, sleeping's part of our job too, you know. Oh yeah. Up for a hint? I'm always up for a hint. Miss Mealy, how many times do I have to repeat myself? Wake up! Ah, I'm awake. I'm awake. Ugh. No! Why does Gumshoe get whipped? Yosh, would you whip me for, sir? If she was in the attendance room from 5 to 6, she was not all by her lonesome self. What did I miss? A poor detective being receiving a end of the lash of your stead. Really? Yeah, sorry about that. You can make the amends by continuing with your testament. So you were alone the entire time, were you? Yeah, no one else even popped their head to say hi. Oh, I think that contradiction that just popped in my head to say hi. What should I do? Should I raise an objection? Yes, we're raising an objection. Because Miss Rhonda said that she was there. Huh? What are you talking about? Is it not possible you were alone in the attendance room the whole time from 5 to 6 a.m.? $5.40, yeah. We're gonna present that. I wonder if you'd be so kind to take a look at this receipt, Miss Mealy. A receipt for what? For the suitcase Miss Tenero brought. Now if I may direct your attention at the timestamp. As you can see, it clearly says 5:40. Miss Tenero... Yes! Why is the killer here? I thought you had her locked up by now. I requested that she be presented as a witness so that we may straighten out your complex lie. I really want to see her go crazy. I wonder what it's going to be. Now then, Mr. Nair, between the hours of 5 and 6 a.m. You took a trip from first class down to the first floor in the flight shop, correct? Yes, I went to the shop to buy a suitcase. After which I went straight to the attendance room and dropped it off. And did you see Miss Mealy there at that time? No. So Miss Mealy, where were you between the hours of 5 and 6 a.m.? Miss Chamomile! The bathroom? I'll be the one to ask the questions here. Yeah, maybe that's it. I probably just missed her. Nature calls, you know. Do you take me for a fool? That's a little too convenient to be true. But it's the truth. Cross my heart. I don't have enough conclusive proofs to counter-argue her at this stage. You don't believe me, do you? Well, please, won't you give me a chance to hear me out? Look, I know you're suspecting me because I'm one of the crew. But do you think I should also suspect Miss Rhonda too? She's the one in charge of the elevator keycard and the shop, you know. If you ask me, that makes her super suspicious. I don't get it. Why are you covering for Miss Rhonda at all of a sudden? Oh, now I get it. Maybe you got your eye on Miss Rhonda. Of course I'm keeping an eye on her. I can't very well let her escape, can I? Never mind. You want to know something? Miss Rhonda is actually kinda... She's kind of... absolutely no interest in people who cannot appreciate my sense of design. Now's not the time for this sort of talk. And what are you in charge of, Miss Mealy? I take care of the attendance room. Doesn't that count? Oh, but I spend so much time in there, it might as well be my responsibility. Mr. Edgeworth, Cammy is very talented in languages, as she assists passengers who may not speak English, especially those who speak Borgian. She's the only one on this flight who's fluent. Oh, you mean that kind of what I'm in charge of? Why didn't you say that in the first place?
What else could I have meant?
Yeah, so I'm really good at Borganian. She's fluent in Borganian. I suppose you're in charge of the process documents in Borganian? Yeah, I take care of anything that has to do with Borganian. Very interesting.
Hold it!
Huh? But why? While Mr. Nero is busy with the passengers and stuff and all the other dudes. If Cammy's the only one who speaks Borganian, then she had to be the force of the documents. Like a certain defense lawyer. Just say it. Say the name. It was this one, right? So you're the only one in this flight crew who speaks Borganian. Is that correct? Huh? Oh yeah, I guess so. I studied abroad in Borgania for a while. If that's the case, then the signature on this document belongs to you, doesn't it? And this is a falsified piece of documentation with only one purpose. Lead anyone who reads it to believe that the Mr. LeBlanc statue was loaded in Europe. The only person who could have either prepared or processed this document in Borginian is you, Miss Mealy. Without your participation, the smuggling of the Ali Red could not have occurred. Don't sleep while I'm pointing my finger at you. Bubbles? Oh, because of her sleep. Oh, I wouldn't have dreamed of falling asleep on you, Mr. Edgeworth. It's exactly as you say. Are you confessing to participated in the smuggling? No, far from it. It's true that I was the one who signed off on that document. But as you can see, you can't use that fact alone to make your allegations of a smuggling stick. There's no direct correlation after all. All you have is my signature on a piece of paper. Really? All you did was sign? I neglected to check the cargo if it had been loaded onto the plane properly. So sorry about that. Seems that she's finally woken up. This is going to be a tough fight. Suppose, and this is just a supposition. Even if I was involved in the smuggling, you can't throw a charge of murder on me just like that. You were involved with the smuggling and you would have a strong motive to kill. Agent Hicks was in the middle of an investigation regarding smuggling ring. And just when he was about to close it, he was killed by a member of that ring. Well, did you ever stop to think that maybe Rhonda is the smuggling ring member? After all, unlike me, Rhonda has access to many things on this plane for work purposes. So perhaps there's some element of a setup at play here. What are you talking about? Don't worry, I wasn't talking about you. I meant the killer. First, it was myself, and now it's Mr. Nero, who is under the microscope. Seems to me our killer is going to great lengths to pin this crime on anyone they can. You have no proof that Rhonda's being set up, or that she isn't. Actually, I believe that she was indeed intended the target from the very beginning. I believe that was the plan to push all the blame onto the crime to her. This evidence will prove my suspicion. Ow! Thank you for the hydrate. Snooze! How have you been? I haven't seen you in forever. I haven't been forever, so make that make sense. I haven't seen you in what feels like forever. Better. There, are you happy? This piece of evidence will answer all our questions. Are you sleep presenting her something, Mr. Edgeworth? No, as you can plainly see, I'm wide awake. Well, I'm afraid you failed. You are making so little sense, I thought maybe you were asleep. Talk about Dr. Sleepy, Mrs. Hydas. Yeah, it's the phone! Didn't I click on the phone? Ecstatic. The killer could have hit the body anywhere, and yet they chose the suitcase. Why is that? Perhaps it was to move the body from the lower decks to the first floor. I've been alright, how about you? I've been good overall. Let me try to think, when was the last time you popped up? I'm now into Magic the Gathering, so that's a different cardboard crack for me. We're playing Ace Investigations, and then next month is going to be Date Anything. ¿Qué más? ¿Qué más? ¿Qué más? ¿Qué más? ¿Qué más? Oh, Batman had to go to the vet, and it was an expensive vet visit. Basically, he got a UTI, and now he has to eat expensive food, which sometimes he doesn't want to eat. And I'm like, nope, you're gonna have to eat your food. I don't want to take you to the vet again because you're not eating your fancy food that you have to eat. And I have to drive across town to go get. However, why go through the trouble to do so? The only way that those actions make sense is that the killer wanted to frame Mr. Nero for the murder. Mr. Nero buys a suitcase on every flight she works without fail. But should her suitcase be switched with one of the containing the victim's body, now that would put her in a very tight spot. Unfortunately for the killer, the turbulence put an end to that plan. There wasn't enough time to put the body back into the suitcase, ergo they made do with whatever there was at hand and adopted their plan. I think your game audio is dubbed, is it? Let's try that. Is that a bit better? And try to frame me as I lay unconscious on the floor from the turbulence. That's it. Thank you for pointing that out to me. Here I'm thinking of like, we got no scrap. We're doing good. The killer then went to hide into the suitcase in the in-flight shop and brought the piggy bank back to the elevator in order to fabricate a new false weapon. It's only been 3 hours. Yeah, no, it's only been 3 hours. No biggie. Chat. I'm doing this because I love you. But I'm putting y'all in jail for being bad and not telling me until 3 hours later. So if I am wearing the dumb crown, we're gonna put y'all in a chat jail. That's what we're doing. Sounds like the killer had a tough time, too, huh? I mean, why did the killer need to frame someone that badly anyway?
What's that emote? Inika Groove. It's so cute. Look at it move. Look at it little dance.
That's because the special circumstances surrounding this particular case. Who the murder victim was.
Brow wiggle. I love it. Wiggle, 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 wiggle.
But just as it so happened, there was a bunch of empty suitcases nearby. Being a skinny man, the killer thought to put his body into a suitcase and hand it off. You mean that the whole plan to frame someone else was an elaborate coincidence? No, that's not what I've said. You wrongly deduced my meaning, Miss Mealy. The one with the wrong deduction is you. Think before you speak again. Ah, damn it!
I'm gonna lurk for a wee bit. Have fun deducing. No worries. Thanks for stopping by. Take care of yourself.
Special circumstances is simply that the murder took place on a plane mid-flight. No matter which country, customs are quite strict in this day and age. So no matter what you do, the chances that the body will be found is very high.
Love you lots, news.
Therefore, there was no chance but to frame either Miss Tenera or myself. In other words, the only one who fits within the boundaries of the criminal's movements is not Miss Tenera or myself, but you, Miss Cammy Mealy. The only one you and own could be the killer.
And?
Are you done already? I was about to fall asleep again. Anyway, let's be honest here. You don't have anything on me other than a whole lot of circumstantial evidence. I can see the outline of how the murder occurred, but I have no definite evidence. And that isn't a piece of evidence that is still unaccounted for. Something that I can't quite fit into the big picture.
Take that!
I don't have any actual evidence. I thought not. But that's because it went missing, and it still is. Missing? What do you mean by that? In the complex puzzle that is this case, there was one piece that I kept getting stuck on. And that was the victim's cell phone. Francesca, you were waiting at the airport for a phone call from Agent Hicks' cell phone. Or at least that's what you told me. That's right? But Agent Hicks' cell phone could not be found at the crime scene. You mean the killer took the phone with them? Precisely. I suspected if we were to find that phone, it would lead us to the killer. Come on. Get serious. If the victim fell to his death from that height, wouldn't his phone break as well? No, because that phone's a Nokia. That phone's gonna still be alive. We wouldn't know until we try a little experiment, will we? Francesca, I'd like to ask for your assistance. You know the victim's phone number, do you not? Of course I do. Agent Hicks' phone! It's ringing from somewhere, sir. I hear a detective now. Where's it coming from? It doesn't tell me where... I'm getting closer. Where is it coming from? The ringing's coming from somewhere in here, sir. Leave no stone unturned, Detective Gumshoe. We must find it. Why is it in Tenero's? So, Mr. Edgeworth, how did it go? Where did you find the phone? I found it in the flight attendant's room, in Miss Tenero's locker. What? What? Rhonda Tenero! I don't know anything about the phone. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Miss Von Karma, is it? I suggest you arrest Miss Rhonda Tenero right away. Wait, I have a theory. This is related to the incident with the keycard. When the killer went to steal the keycard, they conveniently stashed the cell phone in Miss Rhonda Tenero's locker at the same time. This is related to the keycard, alright? In the same way that we have zero proof that the killer just did that. Ugh! The only voice that sings the truth is evidence. The only bird that we can't ignore. What should I do? Francesca's right. I can't offer baseless conjecture at this point. Alright then, why did the culprit take the cell phone from Agent Hicks? It must have something very incriminating on it.
Hold it!
What now, Miles Edgeworth? It's not over yet. We have yet to figure out why the killer took the phone. What? Inside the phone lies the final piece of incriminating evidence that will point to our killer. Phone survived. It's in freaking Nokia. Hello, Dumb. I'm TV. Hi, TV. I wonder how exactly Agent Hicks was planning to preserve the crime scene of smuggling. Francesca, I need you to confirm something. This cell phone, can it take pictures? Mr. Edgeworth, I can't believe you don't know about this kind of basic stuff, sir. This looks like a very similar model to my own. Mine can take photos just fine. Do you think Agent Hicks could have taken some pictures with this? Also, I am Dum Dum. How are you doing? I'm doing good. Thanks for asking, TV. How about you? In particular, pictures as evidence for a smuggling case? If so, I say there's some very inconvenient photos here for our killer smuggler. But the phone's all busted up, sir. Even a super prosecutor can't repair a broken phone. Ugh, I'll find a way, don't you worry about that. Hang it in there. May I go back to sleep now? The LCD screens on the inside and outside are broken, that's for sure. But that's also the reason enough to believe that the killer wasn't able to erase the data. What? What do you mean by that, Francesca? It looks like our killer isn't very familiar with electronics. This phone still rang when called, meaning that only the LCD screens are broken. It's possible that the photos are still inside waiting to be accessed. All we need to do is transfer the data to my phone. Francesca, your phone, if you please. Hi, Dexter. Very well. It's transferring. Alright, displaying it now. This is it. Agent Hicks was most likely trying to obtain some evidence for a smuggling case. Sir, this killer was dumb too.
Yes, they were.
Hey, that's where the all red nowhere in this pic, sir. That has no meaning as a piece of evidence in this murder case, right? Ouch, she's right. There's not much we can find out from Agent Hicks's killer, sir. Is this it? Is this the end? Is there really nothing in this photo we can use? File box. I see some gibberish. What's this? Richard, you are the best, and I love you. Oh, they are Kirkoship from Zogenia to Zhangfei. The reason they aren't here now is they are dropped off in Zhangfei. Mr. LeBlanc, can you tell me about the contents in those boxes? Unfortunately, there's no English written on them anywhere. One of cluster boxes in Bulgarian. It says it's cloth in English. Cloth. Could it be... Is this where the killer... What is that scary face? Miss Mealy? Yes? It appears that an Agent Hicks was not an ordinary investigator. He left us with a piece of evidence after all. A striking piece that will point out who the killer is. Maybe you shouldn't force your mistake reading into a simple picture, Mr. Edgeworth. The Bulgarian cargo and this piece of evidence will point straight to the killer.
Take that!
And what is that supposed to prove? The killer used this piece of cloth to wipe up the blood they had spilt. But there was one thing that bothered me this whole time. Where did the cloth come from? And now I finally my answer in this very photo. The cargo that was unloaded in Zhangfa couldn't have had cloth written on it. In Borginian, that is. It is as you say, plain as the face behind your nose. Yes, I think this is how it's said. And this is where the killer grabbed a piece from clean up the blood with. And that's right. The killer was someone who could read and understand Borginian. And the only crew member who fits that description is you, Miss Camille. That's pretty flimsy. The killer probably searched through all the boxes looking for something to use. When you're frantic, you don't care if the box is in English or Borginian. Sorry, I can't agree with your assessment of the killer's indiscriminate nature. What? There was no need for the killer to tear through the boxes at random at all. And if the killer was supposedly could not comprehend Borginian, well then... Logically, the killer would have opened this box.
Take that!
If the killer didn't speak Borginian, there's another box they would have definitely opened first. Precisely, and bed sheets would be perfect for cleaning up blood, wouldn't you say? What are you trying... So what are you trying to say? Then if I were the criminal, this box of bed sheets would have been what I would have spotted first. However, the killer chose to use some Borginian cloth. Do you have an explanation for that? The killer didn't want anyone to know that the real scene of the crime was this cargo hold, so they were afraid to leave signs that the box's sheets had been open. Oh, over the Borgadian cloth. Well, that's just a horse of a different color. Because the killer knew it was going to be unloaded in the Republic of Zepha. That's right. And why the Borgadian cloth was used. And the only Borgadian reader on board who could make such a calculated decision. Chamomile used Bumblebee! Is you, Chamomile, and you alone. Oh, she used a little teddy bear to defend her! And it would be very for us to confirm if any of the boxes were resealed, as all we have to do is contact the Zafang authorities in time. We may even find other evidence to incriminate our killer with those boxes. Bear! So what do you say, Miss Mealy? Why not confess to your crime right here and now? Or would you rather wait and see until we find out our investigation in Zepha? He was in a pool? I couldn't stop it. I brought him here. He started taking pictures. I couldn't be found out. I was scared. I was in trouble. What? We finished making all the arrangements to take the suspect in, sir. Very good, Detective. What about the smuggling route? Did you say anything about that? We're taking her down to the precinct now. Hopefully we can get more out of her there. Whenever we approached the topic, she started foaming at the mouth. It was very scary, sir. She probably wasn't prepared to commit a murder all of a sudden. One thing is for sure, the ring that's behind this mess means serious business. It looks like there's a lot more to this case than meets the eye. Mr. Edgeworth, I just wanted to say how much I appreciate everything you did. Thank you so very much. It was nothing. In fact, I should be the one thanking you for your cooperation. But truly, if it wasn't for you, I might not be here right now. Instead, I can continue to serve our passengers as a flight attendant. I hope that, well, please accept this as a token of my appreciation. That's... I see. You don't have to take it if you don't want to. No, what I mean is I would never turn down a lady's generous offer. Oh, thank you. I am sure it will serve you well. And remember, here at Go You Airlines are always ready to serve, Mr. Edgeworth. I wish they would have kept the fans translation of iFly, because it would have been, and remember, here at iFly Airlines are always ready to serve, Mr. Edgeworth. Thank you, I'll keep that in mind. Now I must bid you farewell, and may all your skies be blue no matter where you go. You got one ugly suitcase. I can't believe we wound up investigating the whole day, sir. Boy, was it fun. Speak for yourself. My day's filled with earthquakes, elevators, and false charges. By the way, where's Francesca? Oh, she's filling out some custom paperwork for her departure. Departure? Yeah, Miss Von Karma was really busy, sir. She's been flying from country to country to chase down some leads regarding her case. Detective? Can you cancel the car I had you reserve earlier? You got it, sir! I thought I told you when I first landed, I have no time for idle chatter. You edited it out once again, Edgeworth. Another case solved. I had no intention of wasting your time, however, it's been a while since we last met. I also have no time such for familiar reminiscence. Just who do you think I am? You're Francesca von Karma, a very proud prosecutor, deserving of much respect. Huh! Until only a little while ago, I was but a wretch, mutt who always was losing to you. A dancing pervert living in her life in the name of fame her invincible father built. True, your father Manfred von Karma didn't lose a case for 40 years as a prosecutor. However, I wouldn't say that he was invincible. Okay, I want to take a moment on this one. So, the video said that you can play these in any order. And while I agree that's technically true that you can play the games in any order, because you could start off at anywhere and go back. There are so many callbacks to previous games. It doesn't make sense that you wouldn't start, because here you wouldn't know that about Manfred von Karma and his crimes until you got into the second game. Because you have the DL6 case, which happens, and von Karma does. So actually no, that's the first two games. I misspoke. So this Manfred von Karma, you don't get to know about him and the DL6 case until you get until Justice for All. I think to get the little nods, you have to play them in order. But the video that we watched at the beginning of the stream, which was the right TV, said you could play them in any order. Technically, you could. There's just little nods and things here that it makes more sense if you go back and play them. But that's just a stuff thing. What are you talking about? The group I'm on the trail is a little more troublesome than most. Smuggling route we found this time is the only sliver of a big picture. Sounds like a dangerous assignment. You really don't have to worry. I can take care of myself. Yes, I suppose you can. Plus, there's another agent on the case with me. Oh, another agent? He's a star among Interpol agents and has the highest success rate. Who knows, you may even run into him one day. I was simply caught up in this one case. I hardly see why we would cross paths. I suppose. But I doubt he would say the same. I'm not following you. You'll understand soon enough. The fight has only just begun, Mr. Miles Edgeworth. I'll be back in this country soon enough. And when I am, you can be sure I'll pay you back in full. And just like that, she's gone, huh, sir? Thank goodness. I can finally rest easy knowing I won't have to watch out for her whip. Detective Gumshoe, I want to thank you for all your help and cooperation. That was nothing, sir. Just happy to be able to work with you again. I think I'm gonna celebrate by adding a little extra salt to my instant noodles tonight. Oh, he's so cute. Just how much did you cut his salary by, Francesca? Detective, I was wondering, I might give you a ride down to the prosecutor's office. Sure thing, sir. I'll even fly down the road in a patrol car if you want. Don't make me remind you, Detective. Safety first. Thus I solved my first case upon my arrival home. Francesca von Karma, the smuggling route she was after. The leaders of that ring had already put their trump card into play. And the players on the other side of this war, it would begin making themselves known through the next incident. Huh? Edward speaking. Finally. I called who knows how many times earlier, but I couldn't get through. And you are? Have you forgotten my voice, Miles, my boy? Mr. Armano? Ernest Armano? You do remember me. I know it's rather sudden, but I can't ask of this of anyone else. There seems to be an incident, Miles. My son, he's been kidnapped. Who's Ernest Amano? Did we see him in an earlier game? Okay, I don't think so, just looking at the wiki. Maybe. I do have a faulty memory from time to time. Okay. And we go home and change screens. But thank you everyone for stopping by today's stream. That was fun. I'm sure my voice isn't going to uh like me. Okay, so we got one case down. Theoretically, there's 4 cases if we go off a normal Ace Attorney game. So 2 more cases to go? Think so. But let's see who we can raid out to, because y'all have said before that you don't want another Ace Attorney raid. Y'all don't want to be exposed to spoilers, and I will respect that. So here's what y'all get to decide between. I'll create the poll. So Wade, no raid. Final Fantasy and War Thunder. Unless someone has a friend that's streaming something. But yes, that was an interesting case, because at one point I was really thinking it was Miss Tenero that she did it, because she plotted the evidence, but it wasn't Miss Tenero. It was actually Camomile, and that threw me for a loop. Let me think. Is it this Friday? No. Okay. So, assuming everything goes well, Friday I'll be joining in for collabs, and then Saturday, or then over the weekend we'll play more Ace Attorney. So the goal is ideally is that we'll try to do a case per stream. Again, depending on energy levels and what my voice is like, that's going to change everything. Even if I feel like, hey, I have motivation, we're going to do something more like that. But yeah, that this is going to be interesting. And then, oh yeah, Halloween. I'm going to put a little trick or treat, little event going on, so you could be like, do you want a trick or do you want a treat? That is on my to-do list, and whew, we're going to make sure we got that taken care of. It looks like y'all are saying y'all don't want to raid. Okay. If y'all are saying y'all don't want to raid, I'm not going to force a raid on y'all. But I just want to say thank you again for stopping by today's stream. Please take care of yourselves. I always enjoy seeing y'all, and I want to see more of you. So the only way I can see more of you is if you take care of yourselves. Since y'all said no raid, I will see y'all next time. Bye for now.